Welcome back to the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast. This is episode 194. My name is Josh. I'm here with Troy and Phil. Hey,
Hello.
Phil.
How's it going?
How did you get here?
I got invited through the secret handshake.
Oh, cool. All right.
There we go. I just had to play it again. Oh, my volume was down again. All right, never mind.
All right. Three's Company. That's what I'm calling this because we have Phil hanging out with us today. He did such a good job when I was gone with Troy, and everyone's like, we need more Phil. And who are we, Troy, to withhold the hobby from what they want? So, of course, we're going to give them more Phil. We've never done a show with three co-hosts, so that'll be something new. We'll see how that goes. But my prediction, it goes well. So, yeah, Phil's here. How's your weekend, guys? We'll start with Troy. So, what have you been up to, Troy? Anything this weekend?
My weekend has been filled with youth baseball. I was glad to be done with it. We had 5 games. We got third place in our tournament. It made me angry half the time, but they played fine. And I guess we got hardware.
Kobe.
You got second place?
Usually third place.
Third place. Oh, you're on the board.
And then now we have Phil and Kobe. It's okay. Okay, Phil. What?
I don't think he wants to be part of the show.
Hey, my dog's this time. What's up?
Took a 24-second pause to let my psycho dog out of my office. It's usually pretty quiet, but now we'll get back to the show. And hey, Phil, what did you do this weekend?
This weekend was quite actually I was going to say uneventful, but I had a great time. I do Thai boxing, as you boys know, and I had a local event. There was a local event here in Ottawa, but an hour out, and did that for about 5 hours. Saw some good fights last night. I had to miss the Oilers game, so I was a little disappointed, and I thought about recording it, but there's no way to avoid that today. So yeah, they got schmuckered. Well, I don't know, 3-0's not a schmuckering, but either or. Yeah.
They ran
there was an
Bob is what happened. Yeah, Officer Bob decided it's game on.
We'll get into that. So is Thai boxing? Is that Muay Thai? Is that
Muay Thai strong? Yeah,
Muay Thai.
If you follow me on Instagram, I threw up the odd story about it.
What does that mean? Is it like boxing and kicking? Is that?
Yeah, it's boxing with kicking. Yeah, so it's like kickboxing, but you can elbow and you can knee. It's pretty vicious, but it's a beautiful violence. You know. This old dog's fun. Go ahead.
The kicking part or the boxing part?
I'd say I'm pretty equal on both. Yeah.
Okay.
I enjoy it. I enjoy it thoroughly. I'm forever a student. Yeah. Keeps me.
Maybe for ratings, we can have you and Troy fight.
I'll do it. Sure,
I would be curled in the corner, like trying to hold on to the cage. Like, you can't get me. You can't get me.
You'd be fine, Troy. I'll love tap you. You're good.
Okay, so we've already determined you, because you're at a fight, you missed game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Yeah. What about you, Troy? Were you passed out on the couch, or did you actually watch it?
No, we had mother-in-law and 2 nieces, or a niece and a nephew here, because Mandy's sister, they were doing some work on their house. So they were all here. So we had the game on, but I was trying to entertain. I'm tired from all the baseball, had it on and off. I saw most of the game, just here and there pieces when I paid attention, and the goals and everything. And I saw Edmonton take the loss in game 1.
Well, I think other than Florida, I was the big winner for game 1 of the 3 of us, because I watched the game with a ton of people in our Discord.
Yeah.
Now,
that's
of course, Troy, we do everything 2 years after we should.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that like Discord streaming is a thing, and we've just never really done it before.
Yep.
I got to tell you guys, it was amazing. I had the best time, and
That's
we're
awesome.
totally doing it again tonight for game 1. Phil, you're going to be there? Put you on the spot.
You mean tomorrow? Oh, I'm tomorrow, Phil.
We time travel. Yes, you got to remember, we time travel right now.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yes. What? I will be joining you tomorrow on the Discord. Yes. Work permitting. Tonight. Sorry. I'm so dumb. Yes. This evening I will be joining you gentlemen with my cigars and brandy.
Have you forgotten already everything you've learned in podcasting school, Phil? About time continuum, the fourth wall, right? All these rules that we have to follow. Okay, it was an amazing game, though. Officer Bob literally stood on his head. Yeah. I heard the Spit and Chicklets guys this morning ponder if it's maybe the greatest one of the greatest Stanley Cup goalie performances ever. He was amazing.
Break. That was not last night. Not a chance. No.
You don't think so?
Well, I hope not. That's super silly if it is. I really hope not. I don't believe you, though. I think Josh
Okay,
is up, Troy.
I'm just telling you what I heard.
From them, forget it. What more Brady Kachuk rumors are they spewing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Better
anyways,
about that.
anyways.
Better about that. Okay, I have one more question to ask before we get going, Phil.
Mm.
We're here in Minnesota. You're in Canada. How's the country doing today after dropping game 1?
What are you talking about?
Well, isn't it like a big deal for you guys to win the Stanley Cup? Isn't there like national pride at
Oh,
stake
you
here?
mean Canadian team? I don't pay. I don't. You know what? That's really, that's the fair weather fan. No real hockey fan talks like that anymore. They're like, oh, Canada's.
Okay.
It's really not amongst the water cooler talk. It's fair weather fans. They're like, you know what? I really want Edmonton to win. You know, Canadian team. That's usually a good metric to know someone doesn't watch hockey. Yeah, I said it.
All right, my dog is freaking out again. I have no idea what the heck is going on.
You have any
Okay.
NyQuil?
Yeah.
Don't go Pete on me.
No, it's just you're helping it go to sleep.
Yeah,
Well,
go to
it's
sleep.
never been
Go to
me. This
sleep.
has always been Troy. But
Yeah.
okay, I think he's hopefully cool now. I don't know what he maybe ate. I think one of the kids fed him something weird or something like that. But we're gonna get started. Before we do, though, just a reminder: the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast is a Patreon podcast. That means we rely on supportive listeners like yourself to help us cover our show expenses, produce more and hopefully better hockey card content, and fund initiatives, even in a small way to grow the hockey hobby. It's very easy to support us. You can do it through Patreon. Join our $1.99 support level tier. It starts as little as $5 a month. Very easy to do. You can go to our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, click on the Become a Patron link at the top of the page. Go to the Patreon website directly, patreon.com, and search for Hockey Cards Gong Show. There's a link in the show description if you're listening to us on a podcast app or in TikTok, and then in our Instagram. Show description, podcast app, YouTube, TikTok, whatever. I've forgotten already at this point. I do want to stress though, like, hey, you want to come watch the game tonight with us in Discord? Might be a decent time to join. Hopefully there'll be a lot of people again in there because it was a ton of fun. Okay, Troy, we ready with the game plan?
On today's show, we begin with the almost greatest NHL player to wear number 94. Then we have a discussion on the anatomy of a good trade and give some of our thoughts on the trading process. Next is hobby news, followed by a look at the high pop count of the Bedard Young Guns, and does that spell doom for this card going forward? We then take a look at new product releases. We then end the show with the Gong Show mailbag and any personal pickups. Josh, did I have that in the right order?
I think so. We'll roll with it.
Okay.
That sounds good.
All right. We never know what's going on with this show. Okay. Previously, we looked at the greatest NHL player that wore the number that matched our episode number. We ran through all the numbers. So now we are looking at the almost greatest NHL player to wear each number from the runners up in the Hockey Writers' greatest NHL player to wear each number article. The almost greatest NHL player to wear number 94 per the nominees in the Hockey Writers' greatest NHL player to wear each number article, and selected by me, is this guy, Yannick Perreault.
Oh, come on.
Phil, you're probably the only one of us that knows anything about Yannick Perreault. How does this guy bring back fond memories for you?
No, not at all.
None at all.
No,
All right,
I'm just
awesome.
impressed you said it pretty good. That's the L is silent.
I think
I-
Oh, it is. Okay,
Yeah.
Yannick Perreault.
Do you have the owl on the button bar yet, Troy? Because I'm like, who? I honestly have never heard of this guy.
I think
Well,
it was Nordique. Anyway.
I just crack up because when I say these French names, I feel like I'm just becoming more fluent as I go, but I know it's just in my head coming out right, but it's probably wrong.
That was good on that one. You did good.
I'm sure I'll blow it. I'll say it again and screw it up. Okay. There were no other runners up at number 94. As a reminder, the greatest to wear number 94 was Ryan Smith. Yay. Okay. Yannick Perreault, center from Sherbrooke, Quebec, Canada.
You ever been there, Phil?
Yeah, tons of times. Yeah, driven through. Yeah.
Beautiful
Oh,
city. Do you have a girlfriend there or something like that?
Well, it's just a little suburb. It's like Laval, right? Like it's just a
Oh,
little.
okay.
Wait, what'd you say? A girlfriend there? No. We broke up.
All right. Perreault was selected 47th overall in the 1991 NHL entry draft by the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Boo.
Perreault played in 859 regular season NHL games over a 14-season NHL career. I feel I should make a disclaimer. our number one audience is in Toronto. We apologize for any boos that you hear.
Oh, please, please.
Yeah.
It's me saying it, Phil,
I
loud
know
collector,
we
not the
love
boys.
we love our Toronto people. Okay.
Kill this too.
Yeah, Phil does too. Perreault began his career with 1 season with the Toronto Maple Leafs. He was then traded to the LA Kings, where he spent a little over 4.5 seasons. Toronto then decided they wanted him back, and Perreault was dealt back to the Maple Leafs, where he played a little over 2 seasons. He would then go on to play 3 seasons with Montreal. Then it was 1 season with Nashville. Next, it was 49 games with Phoenix, before he was traded back to Toronto, who just could not quit this guy for a short 17-game stint. So 3 times he made it back to, or he started with Toronto and then had to make it back twice because they kept trading for him. Finished his career with the final season with the Chicago Blackhawks. Pretty interesting.
There do seem to be players like this that
Yes.
are so good that people always want them, but they're not good enough to ever really keep around. Isn't that kind of weird?
Yeah, or else they're
Like-
pretty cheap. And
Like the Wild always get those guys like Marcus Johansson, right? Like we've had him a number of times and then they just let him go.
Yeah, it's he's definitely one of those, he's a journeyman. We like to call him the journeyman. All right, awards and accomplishments, not a whole lot. He was a 1-time NHL All-Star Game selection. So there you go. For his career, 247 goals, 269 assists, 516 points. Made the playoffs in 7 of his 14 NHL seasons, compiling 11 goals, 19 assists for 30 points in 54 NHL playoff games played. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, you see a picture. It's of a hockey card because it is dang near impossible to find any pictures of this guy, Google machine, with Nashville. I don't know why, but I mean, not like I searched too long, but this was the best picture I could find. So that's what we're going to go with. Best regular season of Perreault's career from a point standpoint was his 05-06 season, where he had 22 goals, 35 assists for 57 points in 69 games played with Nashville. All right. Yannick Perreault was known as one of the best face-off men in NHL history. Now, usually I save cool stats for the fun facts section, but I just can't throw that out there and then move on. So you're wondering, why is he one of the best face-off men in NHL history? Well, Perreault holds the NHL record for highest face-off winning percentage in a career at 62.86%, or we'll just round it up and we'll say 63%. And he's literally like 4 percentage points, I think, above the next person.
Of all time?
All time. Now,
of all NHL players of all time.
All time. But you got to remember, I don't think the NHL started tracking face-off wins until the 90s. So that's the caveat there.
That's still pretty impressive. Okay, so not of all time, but that's still pretty impressive.
Yeah,
with
pretty
an aspect,
impressive
right?
still.
Yeah.
How big of a deal is that? I mean, is that something like, I know winning the face-off is generally good, especially at the right time of a game.
Yes, but now you're going to love this. The analytics community is going nuts over face-off because there's been stuff coming out that says face-offs don't matter one bit. We put way too much emphasis on it. I like to have people that can win face-offs. It just feels like it's important. But
well, for us, remember, and we would talk about this all the time.
Oh, yes.
I don't think I've ever mentioned this. You know where I'm going, don't you, Troy?
Yeah.
With this is when we had Wild season tickets, Phil. It was during the heyday of Mikko Koivu.
Yep.
And honestly, Troy and I watched so many games, and the whole thing was he never scored goals. He never really got assists. He never really did, but it was always like, oh, he's so good at faceoffs.
Yep, so good.
And we were like, yeah, well, that's great, but can he do anything else? And it's kind of a little bit sacrilegious because he was our captain forever and all that stuff. But I don't know. Where do you rank faceoffs, Phil? Are you you PC face-off guys or what?
No, that's not a metric. When Troy was going on, when Troy was like, I was normally going to save the crazy facts for the end. I'm like, about the face-offs, I'm missing the crazy fun fact part of it. So yeah, it's something I don't really pay attention to.
Yeah, it's one of those stats where it's a lot of angst about it in the analytics community. Also, this is a guy who made the NHL after being labeled too slow to succeed at the NHL level. So personally, I love stories like this where players overcome their labels and they make it. We deal with this at the high school level where we've had kids come into us and say, oh, they just can't figure it out. And we give them some honest feedback and There's two ways you can take it. You can mope and be sad about it, or you can shove it down our throats and say, here's what I'm going to work hard and show you. And I have two specific examples where two kids did
Crosby.
that. It's awesome. Like, I love
Crosby
it.
did that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, take it, let it, or whatever, feed off it, and then shove it down the coach's throat. I love that stuff. Okay. What's he doing now? Now, this is the most recent picture I could find. It's not from.
Does he work at a bank?
Who's this
like
athlete?
That? Yeah. Perot was hired by the Blackhawks in 2013 to help them improve their face-off success rate. Why not? Currently, he is player development coach with the Blackhawks, and I believe he's been with them the last 11 seasons. But now, here's the thing. Most NHL media guides are really helpful with this stuff. Not Chicago's. They like have his name buried. Like, most of them have pictures of their staff.
Sure.
They do. Not the Blackhawks. Theirs is a disaster. So this picture was actually from their AHL team, but they had him unlisted on the site because he probably goes down to their team to help them with player development stuff. But that's kind of what he's doing now.
You want to know who the number one guy fighting all the analytics people on importance of faceoffs is? Yannick Perreault, I'm sure.
Yeah, I bet.
Lose his job.
Yeah, well, yeah, no kidding. All right, so fun, interesting facts. There's not a lot. Here's what I came up with. Oops, I just mentioned. Well, I said something about the face-off winning percentage. Oh yeah, I already mentioned that. So that one's already done. Here's the other one I got. Perreault holds the career record for goals and points with the St. John's Maple Leafs, who were previously the Toronto Maple Leafs AHL affiliate before Toronto relocated its AHL affiliate back to Toronto in 2005, and they became the Toronto Marlies. That's all I got. I still think it's wild that they used to have these teams so far away from each other, from where the main club is located. But they finally all figured that out. That was pretty dumb.
You mean
They're
like the
smart
Kings affiliate in Ontario?
Ontario, Canada. And everyone's like, there's an Ontario, California. And I'm like,
Hey,
oh, yeah.
dingbats.
I know. I've looked at it. I know exactly where, because where the LA Kings have their youth program. I know exactly where that is. Had to deal with them for high school stuff before. Okay. Our boy. Here's his rookie card. No Young Guns. Just a straight up 1992 Upper Deck, number 70. Yannick Perreault. There he is. All his Toronto Maple Leafs glory. All right. PSA 10 pop is 3 with a gem rate of 60%. So figure out how many that is. 5 graded copies. I couldn't find any PSA sales. There are no BGS graded copies of this card. Raw versions sell for super cheap. You should be able to get it for 50 cents to about $2. So have at it.
You're telling, so Ryan Smith was the guy, was number 1 for 94?
Yeah, he was the greatest 94.
So wasn't Shanahan 94?
Maybe, but I don't know if he wore it long enough.
Oh, okay. Because Yannick Perreault being the
19
best of 94 is bonkers.
Yeah, I can't remember. I thought he was. What was?
I have that thought
Shanahan?
all the time in this segment, Phil. Like, are there no good players that ever played in this league, or did they all wear the same number? What's going on?
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's a
So Shanahan, yeah, he wore 11, 19, 94 for 3 years with the Whalers, and then 14. 14 was a big number, and then 18.
That's funny because okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, good job, Troy.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about trades. We're gonna talk the anatomy of a good trade. But before we do, I have a new obsession, and it's not hockey cards, boys. Sorry about that. AI image creators are so bonkers.
Yeah, it's fun, eh?
I literally can't stay away. I'm addicted to seeing the BS crazy stuff that they create. So I'm sorry if you're listening. Do yourself a favor. Come to YouTube for like 2 minutes and look at this photo. I just have to describe it. So I'll start with here's what I told, like the command or prompt that I told the image creator I wanted. 2 hockey card collectors making a trade and shaking hands. Here's what we got. You have a young, kind of bushy-haired, eager beaver, right? He looks like that's job well done.
Yeah.
He's wearing
young
a
20s,
Maple Leaf, young 20s, right? He's shaking hands with, I think, Sherlock Holmes in 1849 London for some reason. Sherlock has not a pipe, but he has a little tiny hockey stick hanging out of his mouth, which is...
I didn't even notice that. That's hilarious.
I thought it was a pipe too. Oh my God.
That's ridiculous.
There's flags in the background that are from no country that's ever existed. I just don't understand like how these platforms work. So if anyone is like terrified that the computers are going to take over the world, it probably won't be tomorrow. I guess I'll say that based on how they handle simple things like this. But I literally sit for hours now and just like try to have it create normal stuff and just look at the bonkers
Yeah,
what
well,
output that you get from it. This is the wildest thing ever. Yeah, that. What is
what
that?
is this? It's like I don't know, a pipe or a oar or something, and then we got some money on the table.
There's coins.
Yeah, there's
and
coins floating
Well,
around.
that was added to the trade, guy. Coinage. Yeah.
Look at those
Numismatic
hands. Those hands
value.
are messed up. And yeah, and that's a hockey stick right there somehow. I think that's supposed to be a hockey stick. But anyways,
you got to look at the little hockey stick coming out of Sherlock's mouth.
yeah, that's crazy. I love it. There it is, little hockey stick, got tape on it and everything.
It's a nice beard, nice white beard.
So that's our image to promo the anatomy of a good trade. But this is a topic that I'm excited to, I guess, talk about because, well, Phil, I know that you're a big trader. You've been on your Instagram stories a lot lately,
I
talking
have.
about various traders that you want to move, I guess, in the right deal. Troy, are you a big trade? I don't know. I can't think of a trade you've ever done. Do you do
I did one with our boy California Dave. Traded
Oh.
him a Luke Robitaille. Oh my gosh, what was it? Maybe SP Signature Edition Legends Acetate for Jill's Malash auto that he had.
Yeah.
Or it was some Luke Robitaille card. I can't exactly remember, but
And I
not a
wasn't
big
looking-
trader though. I don't do a lot of trades. You guys do a lot more than I do.
But hey, think about that though. That's pretty much the catalyst of how we got to know California Dave.
Yep.
Right. So had you never made that trade, we would not have had the great hobby friend we do.
Did you have to meet him at the expo? Is that why?
Well, he had traded with them before, and then
Yeah.
when they saw at the expo, that was the catalyst of their conversation.
Ah, okay, good.
Now he keeps hounding me about some like bobbleheads he has. He wants to trade, but
Yeah, I know. Me too. I got a weird. I got one Jagger bobblehead in the mail like 3 months ago, and it didn't have a return address. I don't know. That's bizarre.
You want 17,000 more?
Yeah.
Hit me up. That's what it said.
Yeah.
And I admittedly was not a big trader either until my card post, which I'll talk about in a little bit, and kind of why I like using that.
Yeah, I just got on today. Sorry, I got.
I
excited.
know.
Yeah, I know. I'm so excited. What a website. It's fantastic.
So what I thought we would do is kind of have a good trade discussion, especially because I know, Phil, that you like to do it a lot. And particularly what I want to hopefully maybe throw out are some ideas for people in how to do it right, like how to make it easy, not painful, how to protect yourself, that sort of stuff. And so I have tips. And then, Phil, I asked you to think about this.
Yeah.
And you can throw in your counterpoints. You can throw in your tips too. But I guess I'll just kick it off and we'll go from there. Okay. So my first tip in putting together a good trade is you have to determine if you trust the person that you're dealing with, right? Trades can be inherently risky, especially if done online. And that's one of the things that I think kept me away from it at first is I like buying stuff in the sense that I use my credit card and I know if something goes haywire that I can contact my credit card and say, hey, I got ripped off and give me my money back. Where if you're going to do a trade with someone and something bad happens, you don't necessarily have those protections. And so for that's one of the reasons why I typically had stayed away from them in the past. And, it's like things like, especially if you're doing it online, it's different in person. I think Phil, you do more at shows than I do. But if you're chatting with someone online and they're showing you a picture of a card, do they really have that card? Is it just a picture of it that they copied on eBay? Are they representing the condition of the cards accurately? Are the cards even theirs that they're looking at? Were they stolen? Like Jeremy Lee had an instance where he bought stolen cards, that whole thing. And so, if it's a friend and you already trust them or somebody you've worked with in the past, no big deal. But if it's not somebody you know real well, then it's kind of, what do you do? So I don't know. What's your process, Phil? If let's say that you throw out a card that you want to trade and somebody hits you up with a card that you might be interested in, how do you determine if it's someone that you actually should or want to do a deal with?
I just go with my gut on that. I'm a little too trusting. I'll be honest. I have my friends, maybe like you guys, being like, Phil, think about this first. Like, do you know this guy? I haven't really been burned for a large amount in cards. I don't really. I just go with my gut. Like if it's Facebook, I do as much as I can for the other person to feel comfortable first. To be honest, that's
Sure.
where my head's at. I kind of want them to think I'm not full of poop. You know, I feel like my spidey senses can spot it pretty quick. It's usually in the deal already, like the dollar amount, what you're getting in return. Does he have a good standing in the community or whatever platform you're on? You know, does the value of what he's trying to trade you, does he value his card and your card appropriately the same? Which is a good point, I think, that might segue into your next thing, because that's when it comes to trust, I think I'm a little more trusting than most, man. I don't know, I'll drive to their house. Where's my money? Like, where's my card? You know, that's probably not the best.
And you've never been burned by that?
Not more than like $40. So I'm like, the most recent one was I was trying to finish a Patrick Waugh refractor set, and I bought a card for like $25 off some guy on Facebook. He never sent it. He blocked me on Facebook, so I just went on my buddy's Facebook, and he was still there. So for $28, it's worth it for me never to deal with that jabroni again. You know,
Okay.
$30. I'm not gonna sweat. I'm not gonna sweat that.
Is there a dollar limit or a value threshold where you would say, okay, let's meet up in person if we're going to do this deal versus doing it online?
Yeah, probably $1,000. I drove 8 hours for my Wayne Gretzky refractor. That was 1,800, and I drove, and he couldn't meet me, and I met his dad, and then I got his dad's number, and the guy couldn't believe I was like willing to drive the whole way. Like I was like, yeah, man, that was my first one. That was like 4 years ago, I think. I wanted it so bad, right? And I was like, no, man, I'll drive. I brought Hasselhoff. We took a road trip out of it. Yeah, it was good. So I
made it
drive.
a day.
Yeah,
that's not bad. Some of the tips that I have, like if you don't know the person real well, you see a lot of people asking for vouchers. My thing on vouchers is it's only as good if you know the person vouching.
Yes, because
right. It's like I don't take random vouchers. Okay, Troy, what do you?
Well, I was gonna say if they're good, if they're gonna scam you, they're gonna also get the vouchers lined up too. It's like vouchers don't really do it for me unless I know the people vouching for you.
Well, hold on. Like someone like Mitch Grotman goes and gets a vouch. There's like 25 people vouching. That's a pretty big scam for $100 card. You know what? Like, I understand where you're coming from, but if you get more than 10 vouchers and they're public profiles.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
you vet them as carefully as you can. But like 3 vouchers and they're, I don't know, all the same last name. Yeah, maybe not the best.
Another thing I would say too is tread lightly with someone that's new, in that don't jump into a $10,000 deal. Do a smaller trade with somebody that you're meeting for the first time. Like you said, Phil, where if it's a $20, $30 card and you're willing to write some of those off if things go wrong, right? Nothing venture, nothing gain sort of thing, where you're not going to lose sleep over that deal going south. And so, but if you kind of if you're trading a $5,000 card with someone that you've never done a deal with before, I would be really, really nervous about that and probably advise against it. Is that you could do a couple other deals first.
Yeah,
I would try to anyways.
Sometimes you can ask for their eBay account too, right? If they're a big seller, they got a good standing on eBay, and they wouldn't hesitate to give that to you. I mean, why would they?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think that's kind of covers the safety, security aspect of who you're dealing with. When it comes to tips, I think the biggest lesson I've learned is communication.
Yeah.
And by that, it's over communicate.
Absolutely.
I do love my card post. Like I said, I'm going to get into that in a minute, but I'll get a lot of just random proposed trades of people that will want one of my cards, and then they will add like 4 cards for one, or even a 1-of-1, but they won't even, like, one of the nice things about my card doing it on Deal On There is you can list what you want on your profile. They don't read that. And a lot of times it's people out of the blue sending me cards I don't want.
Yeah.
And then that's not a successful way to complete a trade. So what I found out is really through that experience is, if somebody has a card that I want to trade for, before offering them a trade, I message them and say, hey, I see you have this card and it looks like you're open to trading it. I'm interested in it. And then the next thing that I really try to do is to get them to get to some sort of agreement on the value. So you
Yes.
have it listed at
Yeah.
it's at $1,000. I did some recent comps. 5 have just sold for 700. I would put it at a trade value of 700. Would that work for you? Right? Before you even put a lot of work, a lot of mental energy, get your hopes up for a deal done, the deal's not going to happen inherently unless both parties kind of agree on what the value is that you're trying to trade for. You guys agree with that?
Absolutely. You got to have pre-trial before the court case. You have to identify on both parties what you have
Yes.
and what the other person has. Both parties, you both have to agree. And like maybe not to the dollar, within $20, $30. I don't know. It'd be good if you can get firm on both. Then you can start communicating healthy. Then you can start communicating properly, and you both can find a deal if your value on everything is the same. That's to me, that's by far the most important thing for trade. By far.
It's not always going to work out either. Like I've run into cases where, like I said, let's say I consider fair market value for a card $700, and someone has their opinion of it is 1,000, and they stick to it. And then I'm like, okay, well, as long as like they're willing to take my $700 card and value it at 1,000, but then they'll come back and be like, oh, I think that's worth 500. And part of me is just like, well, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't overvalue your stuff and undervalue my stuff. But honestly, what I've just learned in those cases is I just say, okay, I don't think there's going to be a deal here, and then just move on and not stop putting energy into situations like that.
You save both your times. That's you identify. You didn't get to step 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh man, an hour I've been talking to this guy. You left in 5 minutes. You left it, and you didn't burn a bridge, right? You didn't. Emotions didn't get involved. Sometimes they do.
Next thing I try to do is then ask them what they are interested in, right? I think so many people, like when they want to do a trade, you're so focused on what you're looking for. And if the goal is to have a successful completed trade and get the card you want, you're going to have a better chance to get that done if you actually offer somebody something they want in return, right? That's sort of the point of the whole deal. And it's funny to me how few people do that.
They don't do seduction. You got to seduce your partner, right? You got to dance.
Mm-hmm.
What?
And
What? That makes sense.
And at the end of the day, if you don't have cards they're interested in, again, it's good to know on the front end. A guy like you, Phil, you're very particular in beautiful ways, right, of what you want to collect. And so I would, just knowing you a little bit, I would guess that I would have like a way less than 1% chance of just randomly throwing cards at you in a trade offer, right? Because you're looking for very specific things.
Correct. I'm very particular. A lot of people's PCs are very pedestrian to me, and that was mean. I'm picky about my cards. I'm picky about my stuff. So when I actually say no to probably 499 approached trades to me out of 500. It's because I go hunting. And that's why I usually lose most trades, because I'm really pushy on what I want, and then if someone's willing to trade it to me, I'll really round up to their favor. Right. I just will. Like if that guy values that card for 1,000, but I value it at 600, like you were giving that scenario earlier. If I get the card I want, man, like, oh, sure, buddy, your card's worth 1,000. I don't care. That's maybe I shouldn't be saying any of this to the listeners. Like I took advice from the loud collector and I have no money.
I traded everything away for nothing. Well, I'm actually glad you said that, because my next point was going to be maybe a little bit of a disagreement with you, but I don't know, maybe not.
No, disagree. Stand your ground.
You can jump in here too, but I always try to take the long view in life, and where I think people make mistake in trades is too much of a mindset of trying to win the deal. So I guess I am kind of like agreeing with you a little bit, and
that's ego, man.
Well, it's ego or greed, or I don't know what it is, but I think if that's your mindset, you're missing out on the opportunity to get like the best part of the hobby and relationships, right? If you feel a little bit of a bad taste, like, well, somebody maybe might have taken advantage of you, or because you really needed a card to complete a set, you gave away too much in value. It's like, are you really going to want to hang out with that person when you see them at an expo or something like that? Are you really going to want to do another deal with them in the future? And so I try to look at it like, I don't want to ever feel like I'm taking advantage of someone. And to me, a good trade is if I get a card that I really want and I'm excited about, and this might sound a little bit weird, but if I'm a little sick to my stomach for what I gave up.
Yeah, buyer's or trader's remorse.
Well, you just know that you gave something good to get something good.
Mm-hmm. So the other party's happy too, though. That's a big part of it, man. Because you're going to see them at the expo. You're going to see them at the next show. You got to make sure the other person is happy too. You do. And it doesn't even have to be if you couldn't come to a trade, but you threw them cash. Cash is king. Cash usually makes people happy. Just make sure that the trade is good on both parties. Our hobby's small, man. If you get cute with people, word gets around, right?
Mm-hmm. You have any thoughts, Troy, at this point?
No, I'm just listening because you guys do a lot more trades than I do. I know one thing to do with if you're worried about people. I know there's services out there that can act as a middleman, like
Veriswap is one, right?
Yeah, whatever they are. They both send your money there, and then I think, or you both send cards there, and then they make the transaction. If that's something you're worried about, you can go that route. Also, PayPal goods and services, I know, is the one that a lot of people will use if you want it. Maybe that's more for buying from someone.
Yeah, if there's no money transacted, PayPal can't get involved. But I think where a service like Veriswap could make sense is, let's say there's a really big card that you've been chasing for a long time. It's a $10,000 card, and you want to trade another $10,000 card, but the guy lives in Australia, and it's going to cost you a lot of money to go to Australia. If you use a service like Veriswap, where you may pay, I don't know what they charge, like 3% or something like that, $300-400. In that case, I could see it maybe being worth using something like that, because I think in those services, right, you both send the card to that middleman, and then they make sure everything's on the up and up and send them on their way. Have you ever used a service like that, Phil?
No, I didn't even. Is that a real service, Veriswap?
Yeah, they're out there. There's services that do that. They've I don't know how big they are, but I know there's a couple that are pretty well respected.
What do they call that? It's not arbitrage. It's what are they?
Currency triangular arbitrage?
No,
currency exchanges.
No, I'm gonna sound like a ding dong.
Middleman?
No, smarter word than middleman. Smarter word, big adult word, big brain.
You're asking us for smart words?
Wow, geez, come on. We have adult jobs. We can do stuff. Come on, do stuff here. Well, it's not arbitrage. It's
Troy, you're the smartest.
Forget it. Move on. Never mind.
I'm thinking like a distributor. It's like
when someone holds something, when you buy a house, you have to they hold it.
Oh, they put on layaway?
Layaway, but it's a smarter word.
Escrow.
That's it. Escrow.
Right. I was having flashbacks like Kmart when you could put stuff on layaway.
You got so excited, Phil. I feel like I should win a prize for that. What do I get?
Oh, another thing too.
Oh man,
I know you don't want to make this an MCP commercial, but
I do.
If you're interested in trading, you can also put on your profile what you want. So any service that has trades and they have a profile thing, put in there what you like. That means, because usually what I would do, like if I was going to want to trade some, I'd see what the person had. I'd go into their profile and boom, right there, it'd say IPC. Blah, 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 blah.
That's amazing.
And
yeah, listen. No, my card post has done nothing. I've been avoiding it. I'm the last guy in my friends group to go on it. It is so far absolutely awesome. And now that I know you can ask for that, I'm going to ask for a home cooked chili, a stepmom for Hasselhoff, and Brady Kachuk cards. This is going to be great. It's going to be fun.
Okay, we'll get more of your kind of thoughts on this, Phil, in a second. Really quickly, though, the last kind of advice or tips I have is just more of the obvious sort of good hobby etiquette type stuff. Ship your cards right away, package them nicely, make sure you ship with tracking so that you can give somebody that peace of mind that at least there's a package coming, and hopefully
and yourself peace of mind. Yourself, not just the other person. Come on, you don't want to be responsible for lost stuff, man.
Okay, so now, Phil, I want to get maybe some ideas from you, and where most of my trading has been online. I know you do more in person and at card shows. So I don't know, what are some maybe specific tips that you've learned over the last few years that have helped you out?
You pretty much went over a lot of the similar things. A big one for me is identifying value. Hanging out with Sylvain a lot at card shows. That is the first thing he does, right? Establish a value on both sides of the trade board. Mm-hmm. Because if he's not going to agree, or she or yourself, if you guys aren't going to agree within 10-20%, you're wasting your time. I've seen Sylvain talk for like 45 minutes and guys just sit there. You can only stare at the cards on the table for so long. It's not going to change anything, right? So it's exhausting. Sure. It's exhausting to watch. It's exhausting to be a part of. It's better, like we said before, you can walk away within 5-10 minutes if you guys just can't come to agreement. If you can find a value in person, especially, you can, I'm big on eye contact as well, and that usually gets the deal done quicker. I find if you come into agreement, if you come to a verbal agreement and your words are flowing easier in person, it's just something about it. There's the magic of the deal, Another thing would be, don't be afraid to say no. Like Sylvain's so nice, right? Sometimes he wants to. I'm sorry to be using you, Sylvain. I love you, buddy. Sometimes you just have to say no. You have so many young guns. You don't have to take in more. Yeah. And I say no all the time, man. It's no problem for me. So and be nice about it. Don't be a jerk. Don't be a jerk and say someone's card is stupid. Or, I mean, you guys know the trade I got today. I'm not going to say what it was, but it was preposterous. It was insane. And it was almost personally insulting, but it's not. I'm just being silly. But he might have really thought I would love that card. I don't know why. I'm a little early in the day to be drinking, but so I responded. I said, hey, man, thank you very much for the offer. I appreciate you looking at my card. I'm a new member to My Card Post, but unfortunately, I'm going to pass on that pretty cool card. I'll be like, okay, I'm fibbing a little bit. It's not cool. And what did I say in our group chat? I wouldn't even pay $20 for it. He had a $500 value on it. You're crazy, bud. I wouldn't even pay $20. But anyways.
But to his point, though, in what you said earlier is that it's a subjective hobby. And I think I want to reiterate your comment about not being afraid to say no, because I feel bad, too. Like, we get lots of trades proposed to us, and probably because of our show. And it's like, oh, I don't want to disappoint somebody, but not doing a trade. But it's also a collection, and I don't want a bunch of cards that don't fit my collection either. And it doesn't mean they're bad cards. It's just not what I collect. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't help me to do a bunch of trades because that's sort of the purpose of trading, right? Is like, wait, well, here's some good cards that I have that don't fit what I collect, and maybe I can find them a home of somebody that would appreciate them more than I will, and in return get stuff that I actually would fit into my PC sort of thing.
If someone gives me a Tiger Woods autograph card in trade and it's worth $2,000 and my card's worth $1,000 and they want to trade me that Tiger Woods card, you sell the Tiger Woods card and come buy my card. I find that happens a lot when they give you something you don't want, but they it's worth a lot. I'm not in the golf card selling business. I could care less. So you go sell your Tiger Woods card, then come back and buy my card for $1,000 or trade for something.
But Phil, would you be in the Tiger Woods card if you were able to get those ones we saw in Montreal, the complete autograph set?
Oh,
they were like draft day marks.
Yeah, very.
That
very
was
cool.
one of the coolest things I've seen. Because
that was awesome.
Tiger Woods' auto is perfect.
Perfect. It's a beautiful autograph. Yeah.
Beautiful. It was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. But no, I wouldn't buy it. But if someone gave it to me, I'd take it.
All right, I got to do a little My Card Post commercial. And full disclosure, they do sponsor our pack opening videos. They really don't sponsor our show. And so I was telling, because Phil and I were talking earlier today about My Card Post, and I was almost wish that they weren't a sponsor because, you want to give the disclaimer. You don't want people to think, oh, you're just talking nice about them, because they do help us out, which obviously we're very grateful for. But honestly, I would never trade. I would have never done it if it wasn't for My Card Post. I love it. It's made my hobby experience a million times easier, and it's such a smart workflow. And the whole idea behind My Card Post is that Mark over there wanted to create an online buying, selling, and trading platform where you could do every type of deal very easily through the internet that you could while being at a card show locally. So think about it, right? You go to a card show and you have all your cards with you that you want to trade. You're at a dealer's table. They have all their cards spread out. The same thing exists on My Card Post, right? Where you have your pages at all the available cards. Then you can propose a trade. You say, I'm willing to trade these 3 cards for your 2 cards. And the person either accepts it or rejects or counters. They can counter and take off a couple of your cards and add a couple others. They can say, well, I just want your 1 card, maybe plus cash. And there's just so much inherent flexibility within their platform. And it makes it very easy where I think of trying to trade somebody through Facebook, where you have no idea what kind of cards they have. It seems like that process would take forever, going back and forth. It's like, oh, here's 10 cards I have, and it's like, well, I don't like any of those. Well, okay, when I get home from work, I'll add 10 more.
Yeah, it's always when I get home from work. Yeah,
that you hear that all the time. And like I said, I just love the flexibility. I love that you can counter. I love that you can see all the opportunity that somebody has. And what we've talked about before, when you can see all 100 cards or 120 cards, somebody, and you don't want any of them, well, then you know that this is just not going to work. And you can very kindly respond to that person and say, hey, it doesn't. What I try to do is like, nothing you have currently fits my PC, but here's what I like. So if you get any of these cards, reach back out to me and maybe we can do a deal then. And then very quickly, they also have in their profiles ratings and reviews, and you can see how many deals someone does. And so you get a little bit of peace of mind that at least that there's some sort of social proof, like what they would call it, with somebody working in there. And then they like their shipping, they have like a workflow. So it makes the shipping part and tracking easy too. So again, not a sponsor, but if you're into trading, you want to do more online, you don't have local card shows that access to, like, we're not in Canada where you guys have amazing card shows all the time. You can go work trades. And so it might be an option somebody wants to check out. Okay. Anything else we need to mention to wrap up our trade talk here, Phil or Troy?
Troy, stop talking so much. He's on mute.
There you go. I didn't want you to hear me cough or drink my pop. But no, I was enjoying the conversation. I will say this. Seeing how much Josh has done it, I keep thinking to myself, I got to get on my card post. I mean, I'm on it, but I need to start doing trades on it. I really need to sit down and make an effort and find some cards I want and do some trades.
Yeah, it's like permanent recess.
Yeah.
It's like permanent recess in grade 6. Like, I felt I had so much fun today just goofing around on the website. And by the way, the website, what's the owner's name, Josh? What's his name? Mike? Mark clearly spent a lot of good capital on that website. That website is smoother and sexier than eBay. Like eBay is a clunky clunk. My card post is very, very smooth, very sexy. I guess the app is coming. There is no app, but big fan of that. I'm a big fan of that because I wouldn't use it if it wasn't. Like COMC kind of drives me nuts a little bit,
Oh, we thought I'm the king of COMC now. After the last month, I got so angry at seeing my EPAC collection, which I just randomly would buy stuff just to talk about on the show. So I just transferred it all to COMC, learned that. So then I started digging around COMC, and I'm like, this site is just from the 90s. It's a disaster.
Man. Yeah.
But stuff I wanted to get rid of the crap. So I've sold 70 cards now that they're all EPAC. They're all cheap.
It's all table based, right? Like grid system back in the forums, like the programming. Yeah. And then EPAC is just the worst website I've ever seen in my life. The EPAC Mafia group.
I think EPAC's better than COMC, but EPAC, it's.
This just got brighter images. Don't get tricked, Troy. Troy's drinking the Kool-Aid.
We should do our countdown of worst trading card marketplaces. See who wins that.
I don't think EPAC's going to be sponsoring Loud Collector anytime soon. That's fine. Loud Collector doesn't want you.
Think about every appearance you make on our show. You cross off sponsors, Phil. You're not going to have anyone left.
I'm going to shut down your show in 3 episodes.
I remember listening to you and Troy, and I thought I heard you say that again about somebody else, but it's probably when you're talking about synergy.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of sponsors, here's one I know you like.
Okay.
And I know it for a fact. Slab Sharks is a Gong Show partner and sponsor. Yeah. We're very grateful for their support of our show. In a never-ending loop of awesomeness, what I call their current weekly Slab Sharks eBay auction is live. Make sure you go to slabsharks.com, sign up for the portal, download the app, check out thousands of hockey cards you can bid on this week. The 3 of us yokels have gone through this week's auction. We've each found 2 favorites. That was the assignment. We had to find 2 cards that we really, really love. And did any of us pick the same card? I don't know.
No.
Doubt it.
Right? We didn't? Okay.
I checked. I made sure.
Right. That means we're hockey card snowflakes, right? Is that what that means? All right, well, let's find out. Troy, you got the honor. You're going to go first. What are your 2 favorites?
This one is just because I like the patch. That's all I wanted. 2017 Upper Deck the Cup, Charlie McAvoy, limited logos, rookie patch auto out of 50. I just like big, bold, cool-looking patches. and I thought this one was really cool looking, so that's why I went with it. Auto, I can live with it. It's Charlie McAvoy. Not very good auto, but I love the patch on this thing. It's a limited logos. It's high end. It'll go for some good money.
I'm sure.
So that was my first one, and then second one actually on the back because I get so paranoid with everything going on with patches and if they're game used. So this one's game used. It's right there. Limited logos, game used.
What's the ratio? Okay, guys, what's the ratio of fake patches to real? It's less.
My
than 1%.
God, I would think so, but I get so paranoid. And thank God there's people like Jeremy Lee's old site that he used to update. He had updated, and Mitch Grotman, who runs an Instagram account that are actively finding these.
Upper Deck should do it. They should protect their own assets.
I think on 3 different occasions we've said on our show that they need to start taking pictures somehow, some way. We aren't such a technological advantage society. There's got to be a way to do this, to take pictures of patches of the cards. You know, if there's 50 of them.
Yeah, how hard is that? Just before you send them out, take a.
Yeah, again, I would love to go in the factory and watch this whole process, but those are locked down like Fort Knox, so probably won't happen. But yeah, I always think there has to be a way, and I don't know if Fanatics will figure it out or someone figures it out some way somehow. But yeah, I agree with you. It should be done. I think the manufacturers should do it. Second card, just because goalies are awesome. This is Cujo. Honorable numbers, 2013 Upper Deck the Cup out of 31, hand numbered. So I know Josh is in because it's hand numbered. I'm not sure what's going on with this patch, but
it looks like leopard skin or something like that.
Yeah, it's part of the
Maple Leafs leopard skin.
Hopefully, and I know it's Maple Leafs, but man, how cool are these Bauer pads? I just love old goalie equipment. It just looks.
That's
so
the
cool.
Sorry guys, that's a patch from not that jersey. That's a different logo, right?
Yeah, I'm sure it's a different jersey than what they show in the picture, which unless it's the leafy part up here.
Oh, you're probably
on the patch. I
don't know.
I think it could be the leaf, but I agree. Sometimes it's really hard to tell where it's from.
We should move on. We should move on from this.
This one's game used also. So there we go. All right.
Phil, Phil's favorites.
Me, yeah.
All right.
I don't remember what I picked. What I pick?
Oh, you picked the heater, baby.
Yeah, the heater. Yeah. Danny Heatley, he's amazing. This is my Trojan horse. I'm sorry, you might never invite me back. The only reason I picked this card is because I can't stand him, and I want to take this opportunity for everybody messaging me about Danny Heatley cards. I can't stand this man, and anyone else in Ottawa who's a hardcore Sens fan can't either. It's all the young lads. All the young lads at the card show, they all think this guy, the pizza line. Screw your pizza line. Danny Heatley got a 45 million. I don't know. Brian Murray gave him a $45 million contract that year. Danny Heatley requested a trade. Wait for it, because he wasn't on the first line of the power play. So stop. So I'm going to buy this card and I'm going to burn it. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to buy this card and I'm going to burn it. Stop messaging me about Danny Heatley. He's a putz. He's a splat human. And I don't like this card. I just used it as a Trojan horse. I'm sorry. I was a ruse. Okay.
So I got 2 questions for you, Phil.
Okay. Yeah. So.
Now, did you know he played for our team, the Wild?
Yes.
We had the honor of watching Danny Heatley. But second, this is more serious. So I don't want to make it. I'm not trying not to make light of this. The car accident he was in that killed his friend and was it a teammate? I think he
Snyder. Wasn't Snyder?
Yeah, Dan Snyder. Was that with Ottawa? And
no, Atlanta. That was Atlanta.
Okay,
Ottawa was his fresh start. And we traded Marian Hossa. Marian Hossa is amazing. Hall of Famer. He's so handsome. He's so well-spoken. When he took out Berard's eye, he went to the hospital. Anyways, we traded an absolute scholar and a gentleman for a piece of poopy human. Oh, man, I can't. And listen, don't think, Danny, I hope you're listening. If I see you in Ottawa, bud, oh, my goodness. He's been creeping around the arena because like we're trying to honor now that we have new management.
Yeah, sure.
Ann Lauer is trying to honor like a legendary Sens. Amazing. Put us on the map, man. We need some pedigree in this city. Not this guy. And he's sniffing around. He's sniffing around to try and get a piece of that legendary status. Not on my watch, bucko. Anyway, okay.
I don't think Troy and I ever made more fun of a Wild player. He literally couldn't skate.
God. He can't skate. He can't.
We would watch it. I just sit there and be like, "Why? What is he doing out there?" But again, all hate mail. Go to Phil. Don't email.
Yeah, I'll send it. I don't care. I'm not going to read it. I delete all that stuff. I'm not reading it.
But yeah, Healy.
Well, now I'm afraid to ask your second favorite.
No. I listen. I actually feel kind of guilty. I'm sorry.
I think Jeremy Lee will come after you if your second.
Yeah,
card.
Jeremy collects these sets, so you buy it.
I know he does, and I leave comments on Jeremy's all the time. He doesn't respond. That's fine, man. I'll troll him all day long. I don't care. Card. I know he's listening. Oh yeah, Dale Howard. I love Exquisite, and I have a soft spot for the Buffalo Sabres. I think I love blue and yellow. I wouldn't buy this card. I just thought it was really nice to look at.
Okay.
Yeah. So so people listening, it's just an Exquisite Collections, I think, or it's an embroiderment.
Yep. It's an endorsement relic, so it's
okay,
just one of their patch auto variations.
Yeah. It's not an iconic card or anything, but it's just Dale Howardchuk. He's one of those forgotten really good players, man. Like,
and I usually see his stuff in Winnipeg, so I like seeing something in Buffalo.
It's just a nice card, and he's just a player. There's so many players like Adam Oates. He's another guy. Like he's all in. I remember him in my childhood tons. He was such a great assist guy. Always played for Boston original 6 team. He's got no hobby love, right? I mean, I'm not buying his cards. I don't like him, but sorry, I wish somebody else would.
Our only experience with him is when the Parisian Suitor went behind the coaches' backs and brought in Adam Oates to run power play drills for the Wild. And that cost but
Hasselhoff told me about that. It was hilarious. Yeah.
Okay, on to me. So I have 2 favorites. I picked 2 big ones, and I want to do it just to give a flavor. Like, we say this auction keeps getting bigger and bigger. Slab Sharks weekly auction. Holy moly! Talk about a big card. A 2015-16 Exquisite Collection, right up Phil's alley. Connor McDavid rookie patch auto out of 97. It's raw. Amazing card. And obviously really good time to sell it as well.
Yeah.
What you say? Then
like,
the last
Phil was so excited his camera dropped off.
Yeah. Sometimes it drops for 10 seconds. Quite, Troy.
Okay. Hey, Dor, listen to this. I have taken the leap. I'm coming next week. I'm getting fiber internet, or gigabit, whatever you want to call it. Fiber. We'll call it.
I'm going to be the one with bad internet. Great. Okay, and then my last card is another huge one. 2019-20 SP Authentic Cale Makar Future Watch Auto inscribed.
Beautiful.
Out of 999 PSA 10. So Phil, do you have the inscribed Brady Tkachuk?
I do. Yeah, I got 3 of them.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I got all 50 of them.
Yeah. I got 75 of them.
No, I got 3. There's 3 up on eBay right now. Don't sleep on Brady, people. You should be buying it all summer.
So are you a big fan of the inscribed version?
Yeah, I like them. I love them. Yeah, I love them.
I'm wondering if they can do something else though with. Like I think I'm getting sick of the dates. I know why they do it and everything, but I like when they put like quotes on there.
Yeah, they should write something like "Be all you can be, Phil."
Yeah, well, I always think about this. Listen, for like Upper Deck and like Marvel cards and stuff. Sometimes they'll do inscribes, but they'll hand write their whatever famous line or something like that. I know you can't. It's Cale Makar's famous line, but I wish there's something else they could do. Like Mr. Hockey. I like when they'll say Mr. Hockey Hall of Fame. Number 9.
Or like #1 overall pick or Calder Trophy winner. That sort of
stuff like that.
Well, why are so many Canadian collectors turning to Slab Sharks for their eBay consignment services? Because they make it easy. They make it so easy to sell your cards on eBay. You just send them your cards, drop them off at a card show. They do the rest. Plus, their auctions are huge, continuing to grow. You get tons of eyeballs on your cards. As hockey collectors all across the globe know, there will be amazing cards each week in the Slab Sharks weekly auctions. For complete consignment information, to start the consignment process today, head to slabsharks.com. Hockey news.
Come on, Troy, do it. He's on mute again.
God dang it. I try so hard to be respectful and not like I took a sip of my drink. I never
look like a puffer fish.
Okay,
you have an unmute disability, but we can't start until you say it. So now you got to say it.
Let me try again. Hobby news.
Okay. All right. We got to update first the Road to Infinity, where we track the rise of the pop count of the Connor Bedard base Young Guns PSA 10 since the Series 2 release on March 6th. In a few minutes, we're going to dive into the potential long-term market impact that maybe the biggest PSA 10 pop count in history will have. We're assuming the card gets there, but that's getting a little ahead of ourselves today, right now. First, we got to check in, see where the numbers are at. So we're going to get right to it. As of the latest PSA population reports. Here we go. The Connor Bedard Young Guns PSA 10 pop count currently is now up to 3,497. That is an increase of 181 PSA 10s since our last show. Just a whisker. When it fills giant whiskers. You got the bushiest mustache I've ever seen in my life. Under 3,500. Now making it. Troy's face is hidden now. It's the 5th highest PSA 10 pop count for any hockey card ever already at this point. And then the next rung on the ladder for climbing up the ladder metaphor here will be the Austin Matthews Young Guns PSA 10, which currently sits at 3,642. So I don't know, within a week or so, right? We'll probably.
Yeah, I'm thinking this needs to be like a once a week segment now because I want bigger jumps in the number, like 300 to 500. But no, here's the deal though. We have gotten so much feedback on people saying they really look forward every episode to what the number is. So maybe
what's it at now? What's a raw going for? Like 350?
No,
well, it's less than a box. It's like,
well, wait, you got? Are you talking Canadian funny money or American dollars?
Yeah, crap. Go ahead. I'll do the conversion. I don't want to confuse Troy.
It's I think it's like 300, 320 US.
Oh, really? Because I saw a couple sold for 400 Canadian last Sunday at the show.
What?
320 Americans more than
that
400
might be close,
Americans.
right?
I don't know. Maybe I mostly follow the graded ones, but it's shrinking.
What's the slab going for?
You'll find out very soon.
Yeah, okay.
In our next segment.
Who's buying these cards, man? Who's buying these Bedard cards? Who's buying them?
A lot of people.
Well, 400 Canadian is 290 US.
Yeah, there you go. Not even close.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, yeah, we're gonna jump back into Bedard, but I got a couple, an interesting story, and then one I really want you guys to can't wait to talk about. So I don't know if you guys saw that Utah NHL team announced 6 names as finalists for the new team name that will begin to play next season. More than 500,000 people voted online for, like, they had a list of 20 that was narrowed to 6. So here's the 6 finalists. It could be the Utah Blizzard, Mammoth, Yeti, Outlaws, Venom, and then like the soccer route, the Utah HC for hockey club.
I like that.
So second round of voting is open now. I actually went in and voted. And you can vote through June 20th. You can do it online. I don't have the website, but it's very easy to look up. So we're going to play a little game called between the, 3 of us, but it's called What Name Do You Like the Most and Which Name Do You Hate the Most? Do I need to explain the rules or do you guys get it?
Can we add a third category?
Sure.
What name is the silliest?
Okay. We'll go. Okay, so Phil, you go first. Which name do you like the most first?
I like Yeti. I like the hockey club. I don't know. I like the Yetis.
Okay.
I like Utah Yetis, Utah Hockey Club. I really like the hockey club. 1A, 1B. Yeah.
My only question there isn't the Avalanche, they've got like the Yeti foot. Is there any like cross Yetiization that happens?
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so
or would that just be a rivalry? Would that be a Yeti-based rivalry? What name do you hate the most?
I like the word Outlaws, but to me, isn't Utah or maybe Boise like the two? Like, isn't that the least outlaw state of your Americas?
There's
Boise's Idaho, right? So that
Boise,
I'm sorry.
Salt Lake City would be Utah, and obviously Utah's known for its Latter-day Saints population, which are very, very typically. I'm being totally stereotypical, but very prim and proper and kind and
like PG-13.
Yeah, it's not Outlaws is kind of a weird vibe.
Yeah, it's an antonym. It doesn't make sense, right?
But I don't know, but maybe there's something we don't know too.
That's what I think. I think all these at some point there's something I don't know. But like Venom, I'm like, what's Venom?
Dumb. That's silly.
Well, I thought that might be a tie back to an old team that was from
Utah. Or they have a lot of snakes. All right, Troy, what's your favorite and least favorite?
Well, by far Yeti. I do find it's funny that only one of these has a S on the end. I know that's been a big topic of conversation in some groups.
Yeah.
Like the Wild, we're one of the few teams that don't have a S at the end. But I'm a Yeti. Blizzards, I don't think about when I think of Utah. You know, they do have mountains and snow and everything. But so I'm going to go Yeti for my favorite. Least favorite, I'm going to go Outlaws just because I don't think, yeah, like you said, I don't think of
Doesn't matter.
Utah's being an
It doesn't
outlaw
match
state.
perception, whatever
Yeah.
the reality
Mhm.
might be. It just
Yeah.
doesn't seem to match. So for me, it's a sweep. Yeti is by far my favorite.
Oh, nice, good.
I just don't like the name Venom. That's my least favorite. It feels like that's an arena football team name, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a boxing line too for like clothing. It's
Oh,
yeah, I don't know.
okay.
A
All right,
famous
last
one
story.
too, very famous.
Last story. Have you guys seen the information or people complaining about the new PSA upcharges?
I saw Coach Co's thing.
Oh, you did? Yeah, I saw it
Yeah.
too. That's where I want to give him credit because that's where I was alerted to this. And you never know. I mean, these stories get passed on, like I think aggregated is the technical term so many times. But Coach Co is a great source to get any sort of hobby news. So go check him out on TikTok. As you guys know, though, if you send a card in for grading through PSA, at whatever service level you select, there's typically a maximum declared value for every submission label. So, as an example, if you submit a card with their $25 value service, there's a $500 maximum declared value. If they grade the card that you submitted for $25, and in their determination, like let's say it gets a 10, they determine the value to be greater than $500, you would then be hit with an upcharge. Now, previously, if the card's value fell between 500 and 1,000, they would upcharge the grading fee from, like in this case, 25 to or 24.99 to 39.99. Now, in the same scenario, it looks like that the grading fee would be increased to 75 US dollars. So here's my example. If they grade a card, you send it in at the value service level, you expect to pay 25. They say, no, this card's worth 525 US. So now your bill to have it graded is $75. You're paying like in that scenario, like roughly 14% of the total value of the card to have it graded. And where this gets super dicey, and Co actually did a good job of showing this in his video, is like in hockey, when these new sets come out, the cards are worth a lot right away, and then very quickly they go down. So let's say the new Future SP Authentic comes out, we have new Future Watch autos, or there's a flagship release, and you've got a new hot Young Guns. You get hit with where you thought it was gonna be $25 to grade the card. Now it's $75. There could be scenarios, guys, 3-4 months down the road where the card isn't even worth anymore what you paid to have it graded. And so this whole thing is mind-boggling to me. I hate the whole upcharge. I don't understand it. I'm not saying that there isn't a reason behind it, but I've never had it explained to me. But I don't understand why you just have to pay them more because they think in their determination, and they don't even tell you what sources they use or their formulary to figure it out. And so this whole thing, frankly, makes me not want to grade my cards with PSA. But I know you kind of have to for value.
They're what an absolute transparent display of telling the hobby they don't care about you or your cards. They are strictly a capital money making machine. Like every time I see Nat Turner talk, he's I'm very disappointed in the upcharge. I mean, what more evidence do you need that they're just a company just to turn profit? Their P&L has to be better every quarter. They're not about us. And that's fine. That it really is okay. Like it really is okay. They're just, it's kind of gross when you get an email published saying their customer service does care about us and they are looking out for us. They're not. They're upcharging. Like, why can't they just grade the card and send it back to you? Like, why do they have to find more ways to make more money on something that is extremely subjective?
That's what I hate.
It's gross, man. It puts a gross taste in my mouth. Oh man, am I ever going scorched earth on PSA? It's very upsetting.
Like if I had a card that's worth $501, I guess, in their determination, $75 is a lot of money to have that card graded. I mean, that's a huge percentage of the value of that card.
Why does a grading company care what you're going to sell a card on a third market for? Why do they care? Why is
what if I just wanted to protect it, or just I love the look of the PSA holders? I don't know why they're just so maybe someone does.
They're just so not for the hobby. Wouldn't it be cool, Troy, if they sold some of their labels? Just there's so much more that Beckett and PSA could do just to make everything comfy or cozy, and they could still make lots of money. They could still make lots of money and hire the right people and put them in the right places. The suits can just sit in the back and collect their profit sharing, and they can do what they want. Like they're not even doing it right. When I found out that they upcharge you based on a card, just grade the card, man. Like just grade. Okay, I trim hedges, I cut trees down, and I trim hedges. That's my business. I don't upcharge a house that's for sale based on the price they get for that home. I don't base my estimate on the sale of that house because my trim job upped the property value. Like it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous way to do business, and it's never going to stop until people stop doing it. But I'm alone on my throne on this one, man.
No, you're not alone. PSA, did they buy SGC?
Yeah, and SGC you can grade
cards for
$14 with no upcharge.
And I'll let me read you this. I just went to the SGC site.
Shenanigans, man.
From their site, too often do grading companies call up collectors at the end of the grading process to demand more money. When it comes to modern cards manufactured after the year 2000, that's key for SGC. We believe this kind of nickel and diming serves little purpose beyond padding the grading company's wallets at the expense of the collectors they are paid to serve. At SGC, no matter how a card is valued upon creation of an order, no customer will ever receive a call from us stating that more money is owed due to the fact that their LeBron rookie auto or Kobe Kaboom has graded favorably. What you pay up front is all you will pay, and there are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Yes, you heard that right. Your Josh Allen 2018 National Treasure RPA, worth more than your car, can be submitted for grading at SGC for as low as $15. I want to know how this marries with that new PSA buying them. What's going to happen?
Shots fired at your own company because they're both owned by Nat Current.
Troy, that was awesome. Fine. I'm so glad you read that. That's what I'm talking about. Like that's not the PSA standard of like, what is this? The mafia, man? Like it's nuts. Like we'll give you a deal if you give me 7 points back. And then like, if it's a movie 3 months later, the big boss finds out how much money the soldier's making. So then he's like, hey, call him in here. I want more percentage because you're making more money. It's criminal, man. We literally live in a time that is so bonkers. It's just, I'm so turned off of the whole grading thing. It is strictly, it's just about money, man. I know.
At the end of the day, none of us are fans of the upcharge. We'll just get that out there.
Yeah,
including their own company,
including SGC, who now is owned by PSA.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, but it's like to some degree, I feel like PSA can flex their muscle and do anything they want because the problem that I've never been able to figure out with this whole idea of like, well, let's say they push the hobby too far and somebody usurps them, like happened to Beckett at a time. I think the difference now is there is so much hobby value in PSA slabs that think how much money collectors would have to lose for PSA to be overtaken by someone else.
They know what they're doing, man. You're right, Josh. Like it's a behemoth, right? It's a behemoth. That like, how about this? The day before they implemented the upcharge, right? There was a day that the upcharge wasn't there. There's a group of people. This is real. This obviously had to happen. There's a group of people that came up with the upcharge idea, implemented it, went to bed that day, woke up the next day and was like, oh my God, it's working. They're actually doing it. These guys are actually saying, hey, Bill, they're actually sending us the cards and we're upcharging them $75 or whatever it was at the time. I feel like a sucker, man. I feel like a sucker sometimes when this happens, and I have friends in the hobby, and I feel like sometimes we're being taken advantage of, right? Anyways, they need a better PR. Beckett could fix all of this. They have such a pedigree. They're in all of our hearts from our childhood. Beckett could fix this like that, and they're just not. I don't know.
They can't get out of their own way.
Yeah, they're eating themselves. Like Beckett is, if I won FU money, I would buy Beckett just for the name brand recognition. I'd fire everybody. Everybody's fired. Josh and Troy, you're hired. A grading company for the people, you know, and we have to make money to be transparent. How much money do you need, man? Come on.
All right, good conversation. Well, we're going to move on. We teased a little bit about the Bedard values. I've been waiting a long time actually to do a little bit of topic on this, and we've been tracking the Bedard Young Guns PSA 10 pop count, but we haven't correlated it to values much. The reason is I wanted to first see how fast that PSA 10 pop count was going to rise. And then I wanted to get some sort of sense of the trend in values. And it's been a few months. It's shaken out a little bit. And I think what most hobbyists have seen to this point, making generalizations here, is of course the pop count has been rising very quickly. And then secondly, the values have been trending down really since the mania that ensued when Series 2 came out. And so I've been thinking, guys, about this big picture question. And is there a point or a number that the PSA 10 pop count would get to where it would be so high that it would kill, no matter how good this kid is, that the hobby just couldn't sustain a high value based on the sheer volume or quantity of these cards that exist? Like basically, could this turn into kind of a junk wax type rookie card? I'm not saying it is. It's just a question I've been thinking about. And so I started looking at like pop count comparisons, and you go back to the 1990 OPC Premier Yager rookie, Jaromir Jagr. Everybody loves Jagr. He's had like a total hobby renaissance.
Yeah.
And a very beloved card in the hobby too. Like, I know it was a junk wax era, but a lot of people like the 90 OPC Premier cards. And the PSA 10 pop in this card is 3,700, like 200 more than Connor Bedard, and it sells for $120. Right? Where we're still at like, okay, so conversely, right, you have Connor, I want to go through one more example, right? Then you have Connor, on the flip side of this, you have Connor McDavid, Young Guns PSA 10, pop 2,900, so just a few hundred less than Bedard, and almost 3,000 PSA 10s, and it sells for 2,600 US. Right? So it's like, where does it? We always reference the population count for junk wax era as mattering so much, but then like in the case of modern, does it matter? I don't know. And it's almost like in every other aspect of the hobby, scarcity is like the most important thing. But then how do you explain the rationality that like this, like, okay, so here's another example. You've got a 2015 OPC Platinum McDavid Marquee Rookie Red Prism out of 149 PSA 10. It sells for less than McDavid's Young Guns. Now, there's only 149 of this card ever made in the first place, and the PSA 10 pop count is 4.
That's crazy. I want one.
I think it's a very cool card too.
Yeah.
Right. And so you got this like whole, like, I always think, or often think, when I look at some of this and I get so confused, like if you took an average hockey fan that had never collected hockey cards and it was his first day or her first day in the hobby, and we just showed these examples, they would say, you people are crazy. This makes no sense. I'm going to go do something else. And I'm going to get your guys' input, but I have a theory that I've developed in all of this. And I don't know if it's right, but here it goes. I think when it comes, like we've talked about the 3 most important rookies in hockey, Young Guns, Future Watch Auto out of 999, and Cup RPA, True RPA, either out of 249 or 99, right? That when it comes to those 3 cards, I don't think population matters. I honestly don't think the hobby cares. Like all hobby rules and logic seem to get thrown out the window. It's like they're immune to logic, right? Because there's no way that with 3,000 PSA 10s for the McDavid Young Guns, it should still be a $2,600 card when you have Jagr at $120.
How much is a McDavid PSA 10?
2,600 US.
2,600. So 25 to 3,000. That's
and
pretty
there's 3,000. There's 3,000 copies of it.
Yeah, then 2,000 of the 3,000 are in dealer boxes, and they're just trading amongst each other.
No, you had asked the question earlier, Phil. Like, what's the Bedard Young Guns PSA 10 going for? So the average of the last 5 sales, like 865.
Okay.
US.
Yeah.
Right. And so we've gone from a peak sale. No, Troy, it's a good. We've gone from a peak sale of 5,100 US about a week after Series 2 release to now 865. Right. And so here's like this flies in the face, right? Where is it 865 now because the PSA 10 pop count has increased so much? Or is it more just because it's gone down because all the kind of the hype and hoopla and excitement over the Series 2 release has died down.
Bit of both, maybe. I mean, it's off season. I mean, it's the finals are on. Next 2 months, nothing much is going on.
And
I don't know.
And if you're sitting like, if you're listening, or Phil or Troy, if you're like, why does all this matter? Because I always try to think like, if I was in the market, if I really wanted this card, and a lot of people do, it's a cool card. I wouldn't, I'm not actively pursuing it, but I have nothing against it, and I could totally appreciate wanting it. How would I know when and for what price is a decent amount to buy? And I don't just mean that from the like investor flipper type perspective, right? Even as a PC guy, I don't want to spend $1,000 on a card and 2 months later people are buying it for $600. Like that's not fun, right? Because I always think of, oh geez, there's another $400 card I could have bought too with it from my PC with the same amount of money. And so here's like my two big questions for you guys. Number one is that, do you think or agree that when it comes to the Young Guns, the Future Watch Auto, which is $999, of course, and then the Cup RPA, that almost like the pop count doesn't matter and it's just more hype or external market factors? And then do you think that there is a number that, like, if the PSA 10 pop count of this card hits 10,000 a year from now, that there's no way that it could be worth $1,000 or $2,000, that it's just too, the hockey hobby's not big enough to, right? Because where I think that you say, well, how does that affect or factor into value, is that if you have 10,000 of these, like in that scenario, you're going to have so many selling a day that you have to have, for all that supply, you have to have the demand, that daily, hourly demand that's willing to pay those 5-figure or 4-figure prices to buy the card. And, is there a breaking point when it comes to pop count? So I'll shut up now. What do you guys think?
Isn't this a math question? Like, I feel like I'm not smart enough to answer this question. It's a house of cards, it's top heavy, but if he's playing well, like, what if Chicago makes to the finals in 2 years? Then my answer to you is 10,000. 10,000 is not enough. Like,
you think so?
Well,
you think there's that many?
Man. I don't know.
I would actually tell you, Phil, I would maybe respond, it's not a math question, because there's no logic to any of this. Why is Yager's rookie card worth $120 at the same pop count, and these are going?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I want a Bedard rookie for my, like, I'd pay maybe $250 for a nice raw card that I like, not someone else's opinion that I like, and I would just tuck it away. But I really don't want to spend more than that, and I don't need it slabbed. I don't know. I don't know if the Troy, you're maybe better to answer this.
Well, I was just saying, I'm thinking about your previous, when you thought about the core rookie cards, Young Guns, Future Watch Auto, Cup Shoe RPA, and population really doesn't count. I would argue, well, let me say this: does population not matter on 5 guys like Bedard, Ovechkin, Crosby, Matthews? But it affects everyone else.
But I would say though that, like, any of the Cup RPA 99 guys, like, one of the things we often point out is that the true Cup RPA sells more than the gold out of 50.
Yeah.
Right. There's all these sort of weird idiosyncrasies when it comes to, because those cards are so revered or sought after or seen as, that true quote unquote rookie, however important that is for people.
Yeah, I've always thought the Bedard card will just keep coming down until he wins a cup or something. I don't know how it can sustain itself. But I actually thought the pop would be increasing at a higher rate than it is. So, but again,
higher than now, Troy? Higher than now?
I thought it was going to increase higher than
wow, that's crazy. I didn't think.
But the thing is, I keep sitting there. Guess what's just looming in the back, looking over the shoulder? I think EPAC will make those numbers jump too once the Series 2 EPAC release goes, because then people can transfer to ComC, transfer to PSA, just like that. And I bet that will drive it up a little.
Okay, so Phil, I know you don't want to try to chunk through the math on this, but let me put it in terms that maybe are easier for you to digest. Like, let's say you wanted a Bedard Young Guns PSA 10. That's what you wanted. Are you at 865, knowing the pop count is going to at least double what it is now, but also we're off season, so on and so forth? would you, if you had to, do you think now is a better time to buy the card, or would you be in the mindset of waiting it out and see
I'd
what
still
happens over
wait.
the
Yeah. I'd be probably looking at like August. Yeah, like I don't know. I'm a firm. I buy most of my cards in 2-3 months, and I just swoop in and grab them. I don't know if that's going to happen with Bedard though. It's an anomaly, right? Like I don't know. I mean, look at Caulfield last year. Everyone's like, "Oh, I'll buy his cards in the offseason." It just kept going up.
Yeah, it just kept going up.
It made no sense. The guy was hurt, didn't play at the end of the year. Wow, the Quebecers are a wild card though. You gotta, they're you gotta.
but then he didn't play well, and they haven't done well.
Yeah.
No, they're not doing well. See, I don't know these things, man. I don't know.
No, I mean it was, his market was way stronger a year ago than it is now, because he had kind of he didn't have a bad season, but he didn't take, with all these prospects, you were looking for that big step up.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, you had 25. So Bedard had 25 goals or whatever last year, 27, something like 28. I can't remember what it was. Right. The hobby wants to see 40 this year.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, if he scores only like 31, forget it. Yeah, those cards are tanking, eh?
Or what if he scores 22? Right.
Oh!
And I think because that was the whole thing on Caulfield last year. When he got hurt, he was pacing, wasn't it, for like 40 some goals, Troy? And so people pointed to that and said, oh, he's on the rise. He's had his kind of breakthrough moment. What are you doing, Troy, if you're in the market for this card? Are you?
Oh, I keep waiting. I've said it a million times. Like we've both said we are in the, I mean, eventually I would love to have a Bedard Young Guns. I ain't buying it right now. I'm just gonna keep waiting.
You know what's gonna happen? I want to get one in a trade, right? Like if there's a trade that's almost done and a guy's like, you know what? It would a Bedard raw get it done? I'd be like, yes, it will, Steve. Whatever. I don't know.
Okay, then getting back to your comment about maybe is it not just cards that are impervious to hobby logic, that there's players that are also impervious to hobby logic. Do you, Troy, the fact that this card keeps going down, do you attribute that more to the fact that the pop count keeps rising, or just that you can't, like, when this set was released, it was like the hype was at like a 12.
Yeah.
Right. It can't stay
11,
there forever.
Turn it up to 11.
Turn up to 11. It has to come down. So is it more just the chilling out of the hype, or is it the pop count that you think is driving?
It's all. I think it's all of it combined into one to bring it down. It's a lot of factors coming in at the right time to push the price down. I mean, that's honestly what it is.
Who's buying it? All the people that wanted one bought one. I'm telling you guys, there's no one left to buy it. Like who's dealers and flippers?
Well, I was gonna say dealers. I was gonna say market makers, which is like dealers, right?
Yeah, but there's no one like me out there buying. Like I just, every time I see a post on Facebook or Instagram, it's a dealer selling 12 of them. It's not one guy and 5 different cards. So
you're saying there's more sellers than buyers?
Yes, that's my opinion. IMO. I learned that.
Well, I've asked this question to Troy before, Phil, but I'll ask you: how many people, like, what do you think that the true, like, not investment focused, like passionate Bedard PC people are there? I feel like there's hardly any.
Yeah, they're like 15 to 20% of the people buying it. Guaranteed, man. Guaranteed. I'm being generous. It's everything's, it's peculiar. It's weird. There's a, you know how we always say there's a hobby within the hobby? There's a seller's market within a seller's market, and they all know each other, and they're all just their little grubby hands. like the show before the show, Thursday nights when you get there early afternoon. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Just in digital land. I'm telling you, I'm at the show every month in Ottawa. I know it's not the best gauge, but I am I'm very good friends with some of the owners, and my finger's on the pulse pretty good. I could totally be wrong, like I was last week about the box prices. I'm sorry, but you can blame the guy down the street on that one. But yeah, I don't know who's buying these cards, and I have a lot of friends that buy cards. Who's buying this card? I know people that bought it, and they're not looking for it again. So I think the price is just going to go down the more it keeps getting slabbed up. Well,
everyone wants to hit one to flip it and then buy something they really want with the money. I mean, that's a very jaded kind of view of it. Or if you hit something so big that you're like, okay, I want to sock this away to see what happens 5 years down the road, if there's like a McDavid effect. But
2 months ago, I'll be quick. 2 months ago, Anthony, if you're listening, you probably are. I have a father, a great dad in his 40s. He comes to the show with his kids. He's a hockey card collector. but he's not hardcore. He's not a fanatic like us, but he's involved. He watches, he listens to the podcast. He got a Bedard in a box. He came to me and asked me for my advice. He said the guy down there will buy it for 800. I've been hearing people will pay 1100, 1200. What do you think I should do? I'm like, go get your money. He didn't. He waited. I saw him 1 month later at the last show, and Phil, I should have sold the card. I got an offer for 450. I'm like, what are you gonna do? He's gonna keep it and hope Bedard plays well next year. He's never gonna get that 850 again. Probably not unless he wins a cup, right? So that's a real story. That's really happening right now on the front lines of our hobby.
Well, maybe to put a bow on this, unless you guys have anything else to add, it's like the one thing that we've observed about Bedard in particular, maybe this goes back to your point, Troy, is that there's almost no way to predict what happens with this, right? People had said there's no way pre-NHL cards are going to sell for big money, and repeatedly that was the case. We had the $5,000 base Young Guns sale right after this came out, and so it's a very tricky one. And I would hate to be a speculator and someone that's kind of has to make their money flipping, especially a guy like this, because man, I think that if I was in that game, my whole mindset would be in and out as fast as possible. Like I would not want to hold a card for any amount of time.
Yeah, hot potato. Get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're gonna move on to new product releases. So you guys, a week ago now, we YouTube reviewed the Synergy checklist. I feel like I don't know if you had any opinions on it.
A review.
Do you want me to? Do you guys want my opinion? Or?
We want to talk about everyone. Everyone loves us talking about pillows and bookcases. Or
I know.
It.
Yeah.
Well, I'm your loophole. I'm not sponsored, right? So you can,
There you go.
Oh, we can say what we don't like.
It is what it is, right? I mean, it's a unique set. There's a lot of like tech involved in the cards, and it definitely does not appeal to anyone. But it got me thinking about
to everyone. That doesn't appeal to anyone.
Everyone.
Freudian slip, Cashy Poo.
It doesn't. I actually don't mind it. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It appeals to me.
Oh.
But it got me thinking, though. I don't see these cards a lot in the secondary markets. They just don't seem to come up like in the auctions we do, and I'm wondering, well, is there a big chase for them? And I often do. I'm like, well, I want to look and see like what the most paid for a Synergy card is, and you got to keep in mind it's $100 box, so you can't have an expectation that there's going to be $50,000 cards here. So we're going to look at the top 5 publicly selling Synergy cards of all time, and we're going to see maybe the market values, maybe
StarQuest for sure, StarQuest.
Yeah, maybe it'll change Phil's mind. He may in 2 minutes he might be ordering cases and cases
of Synergy now.
No.
We're gonna find out. And just 2 last little points before we get into the list. First release year, I think, was 2017-18. So it is a relatively new product. And all sales via eBay, of course, have been verified as paid for in Therapy. So I know Phil is very excited. This is a set he loves, very near and dear to his heart. The number 5 top selling Synergy card of all time is a 2020-21 Wayne Gretzky Legend Purple Auto out of 15. Raw sold for $910 via eBay in July 2022. So like, it's a lot for a Gretzky sticker auto.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a sticker too.
Yeah, I think all Synergy autos
over here. This doesn't remind me. This is like at the end of the sheet where he was getting tired of signing. This doesn't look like a Wayne sticker. It looks really broken up and stuff.
All right, the number 4 sale is a 2020 Kaprizov rookie auto out of 11. BGS 8.5 sold for $1,000 via eBay in August 2023.
Part of me likes this card. Part of me just doesn't know what's going on.
It looks like rookie breakout. Kind of looks like a cheap man's rookie breakout.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Number 3 card is a 2018-19 Elias Pettersson true rookie out of 9 raw that sold for $1,175 US in eBay in November 2022. There's no photo for this card, so I went back to my friends.
I'm like, what is this?
There's no photo. I looked forever. There's not for sale. It was out of 9, and sometimes on the eBay listing, the photo is no longer available. So I had to go back to our good friends at the AI Image, their computer robots, and here's my instructions. 2018-19 Synergy Elias Pettersson Canucks rookie hockey card. This is what I got.
Petterikins?
It's the Sircers Canucks.
Are you using Bing, Josh? Are you using Bing?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
it's on drugs.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
So-
Celera instead of Bauer, I'm guessing is
I
what
guess.
it's
No.
Look, and
Yeah,
these
so
aren't
there's
even
your-
right, like the patches are just lines, they're not the sticks.
How'd you get his face on there? What'd you say? What's the command again?
The command was 2018-19 Elias Pettersson Canucks rookie hockey card.
Wow. I'm gonna have fun with that after the show. Okay, cool.
Yeah. All right, number 2. 2021-22 Cole Caulfield Synergy FX Gold Auto 101 raw sold for $1,250 US via eBay this past December.
Every
Hockey
time
Mode.
Cole Caulfield's on here, his face is someone hates him at Upper Deck. I'm convinced. Like
No,
every card
they
of him.
answered. They said they
he's
want
the
the
only
moment
one.
of
Actually, the photo
passion, right?
the photographer did. He did a good job answering.
Yeah.
I still
Peter,
think
what's his name?
someone's-
Peter?
No,
Nick.
Peter the photographer?
Nick
Nick.
Watzka.
Nick, whatever.
Can
He had a good answer. That was a
Yeah.
great interview. You should get him back. But he had a good answer. He wants like the passionate moment, you know?
I still think someone doesn't like him.
Can you zoom in more on that, Troy?
There it is.
Oh, it's
Hey,
so
like-
bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good
Then
card.
the
It's
number
cool,
one-
I guess.
Highest selling Synergy card of all time on
Oh,
the
our boy.
public secondary markets. Our boy,
Ah.
2020-21 Kaprizov Synergy FX Rookies Gold 101 Auto Raw sold for $3,055 US via eBay in October 2021.
Verified in
Now-
Terapeak?
Verified.
Verified
therapy.
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
Okay, there's something like crazy about this list. Did you guys notice this?
I did.
Other than the Elias Pettersson wacko thing.
I did, but it might be just because it's so new, right? There's no Bedards.
There's no Bedards on this list.
Is he in this year's set?
Yes.
Oh, he is?
I mean, it's very new. It's been out for a week, but given how crazy the Bedard market has been, I think the highest
Yeah.
sale yesterday for a Bedard card was $147.
So wouldn't that
Like-
show you what people think of Synergy? Ayo.
Or is there just so much Bedard in the market now that
Ooh, good point. Well, when you got Black Diamond at $5, I don't know what to tell you, brother.
Yeah. Well, and plus, when I went to do a checklist, there wasn't that many Bedard autos, actually. I think if I remember right, it was only 8 different types of cards that had a Bedard auto, if I remember right.
His
could be
auto
wrong.
nice? What's his auto look like? I forget already.
it's all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
Kind of swooshy.
Ah, like
It's
all
it's
the
not
other
as
ones,
nice
yeah.
as like Crosby or McDavid or Gretzky.
Yeah.
Here, here. I'll bring up a picture. This is from.
So for people listening,
There's
we're
one
looking
from
at
Trilogy.
Bedard's autograph.
Yeah.
That's a nice card.
Mhm.
I like that.
Okay, so does this change your mind at all about Synergy, Phil?
No, not at all.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. I'm
Yeah,
not.
I'm with you. I've just never been a Synergy guy. Just
I'd like Upper Deck to really. Oh man, I just wish they would just want to talk to us more. Like why? I would love to know why they made Synergy. Who in 2017 woke up and said, you know what, we need another series, and we're going to call it Synergy.
well,
Sticker
Synergy is
autos
the
only.
tech, right? The tech. It's the tech.
What do you mean it's the tech? I don't understand.
I think that's like the way they manufacture it. They call them tech inserts.
It's like the
and-
fanciest, all the
Yeah.
fancy printing technologies. Like there is a
Huh? I don't get it.
very close similarity too between Synergy and like Essential Credentials because they mix the acetates
Yeah.
and they like sandwich them in between card like foil.
Okay.
And like you get a lot of like acetate foil combos with Synergy, and it's just like a more like modern, classy sort of design. I don't know how they
It's a-
figure out like what's the sweet spot of products to have. Like,
yeah.
is less ever more. I don't know.
Well, I've
You know,
always
just-
complained. I complained, Phil, that I think it's an energy drink. The logo,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
reminds me of an energy drink. So it's
the just because you can, yeah, like they obviously know what they're doing. Like they're obviously making money with this product. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have the vocabulary to explain.
Okay, well, I do want to do one more thing in new product releases. So, figuring that the reviews on Synergy weren't going to be super hot, even though I do I actually appreciate it. I just understand there's not a lot of value to it. So it's like it's a collector set, I guess, is probably the way that you'd put it. But there are a number of releases coming up. There's some big ones coming. And so I want to know from you guys what you are excited about. Like, what's something that you can really get behind?
That means that I know what's coming up. I just usually
I've got a little bit of a list.
Tell
here.
me.
I've got a little bit of a list. So we have obviously extended next week, which will have the Bedard Young Guns canvas and acetates and Cooley and Fantilli, or Cooley and Fantilli Young Guns.
Okay, lukewarm.
and then you have SP Authentic. Is that something that you guys are excited about?
Yeah, I love SP.
Very excited. Yes.
Even the price point, like, are you gonna?
What is it?
Well, it's $500, I think, US a box.
Oh, maybe lukewarm like Troy. I'm not buying any. That's nuts. That's crazy. Well,
Metal Universe. You guys excited about that?
Nah,
I'm not.
Stature.
Yeah,
I know Troy loves that. You're a Stature fan, huh, Phil?
Yeah, I like Stature. I just learned last week that I'm like, I got the 101, and someone said, is it the home jersey or the away jersey? And I'm like, son of a.
It's like 19 101s.
Yeah. So it's there's such beautiful cards though, man.
There's a question in mailbag that I just can't wait till we get to, because it blew my mind. I didn't know what to do. Like I couldn't figure it out.
It broke Troy.
It's about a Stature card.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I spent way too much time on that too. EX2000. That's the one I'm giddy over. You into that?
No, I laughed that whole episode. I laughed at you a lot. Yeah. EX3000 to the power of 10. Yes.
There's a lot of people in our Discord that are actually excited about that, and I don't know. I maybe I need to see it or revisit it, because at the time when we talked about it, it wasn't something I was like, oh, this looks awesome, but.
My wife would get along great, Phil. You both like to laugh at me. So
listen, I'm excited. You're excited. I really want to try and change my mind, Josh. Then change my mind. Buy a case.
OPG Platinum. Do you think it? I will. Do you think it makes a comeback?
Yes, of course. Too good not to.
Yeah,
too good not to.
But
I actually like the last release of OPG Platinum. I know it.
OPG Platinum is great, man.
Fix some of the issues of the 2 years ago, right? Where it was just like all the momentum. They came out with that release. It was bad. Like everything, miscuts, all that fun stuff.
Travolta made 3 comebacks. They can do it. They can do it.
There you go.
Wise man. 2022, the Cup. You guys pumped for that?
Oh yeah, yes, it's the top dog. Absolutely.
Yeah. Always want to see the Cup cards.
Yeah,
I mean the rookie class, right, is a little, but
last year was kind of poopy. That patch window was a little ovally or something. I don't know. I hope they.
Well, then we're gonna. You know what? I'm actually interested. Is I like when the new Cup comes out, because then we get to see Mitch kind of show us what's changed and what's.
Yes.
Like, oh, this card used to have game use. Now it doesn't.
Yeah. I lose his mind.
Well, good. I'm glad that people do. They need
get the show back on the rails, eh?
Then the last one I had is Premiere. I'm a big Premiere guy. I love the acetate RPAs. You not so much, Phil? You're giving the not so much. It's like
a poor man's cup.
Oh, stop.
Sorry, man. I'm sorry.
I like Premiere. It's just one I've never actually. I don't know if I ever bought.
They have this like matte finish on it, like this matte. Like every card has this like shine. I have like one Premiere card, and it's got a it's got a wax on it. No, I don't know. Whatever.
Okay, so out of extended, authentic, Metal Universe, Stature, EX2000, Platinum, Cup, and Premiere, what's the most excited you are about any one of those?
Trigo.
Stature.
Are we buying this or are we watching it?
You're buying it.
I'm buying
it. My money or your money?
Your money.
My money?
Mm-hmm.
How much is a box of Stature?
Usually 120.
Yeah, Stature. I'm with Troy. Yeah. Plus, then we can get some pizza and we can hang out and trade our cards if we don't want.
I'm gonna open up my case at EX2000. And
yeah,
you guys can laugh at me.
Yeah, I will.
Got to make a quick mention for Gongshow partner and sponsor PWCC. Of course, we're very thankful to them for their support of our show. The June premiere auction is now live. Runs through Thursday night, June 20th. It's a big deal. Of course, we see many of the best, most iconic Grail type cards in the hobby. $1 million cards have been bought and sold in the PWCC premiere. There's 90 total cards in this month's premiere. 5 of those are hockey cards, so that's kind of impressive. So we have a 2005-06 The Cup Crosby Gold RPA out of 87 BGS 910. A great patch, not so great auto, like the start
that
of
auto, it's so good until that little line.
That patch. I'll never understand how autos are graded. It's got 10 grade auto, and I do your own evaluation.
Yeah.
Was my advice there. Then there's the sister card, the 2005-06 The Cup True RPA at a 99 BGS 910. Much better auto, not as great a patch. Okay, Troy, do you have the site? Like, look at the
Yeah, I was
difference
going
in
to
the
just do that because I was going to ask you which one. Yep. And look, the 99 is going for 3 or 2.5. No, 2 times. We'll say
two
times
times.
the amount of the 10.
As it
Or out
should.
of 80. Sorry, out of 87 one.
It should.
This next one Phil might like. It's a 2015-16 Exquisite Collection Connor McDavid 0304 Tribute Gold Spectrum RPA out of 5 BGS 910. Very beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Patch. Well, how many breaks is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, tons of breaks.
Yeah, it's a great card. What a card. I know it's not his true. Well, no, it's that's his rookie. That's his true rookie, right?
But it's a tribute. Does that count? Do we have to get in this?
Well, that's not his Cup RPA, but that's his exquisite rookie card.
Yeah.
Oh, but it's not a 5. I mean, they might have. I'd have to check the checklist. So either
It's
way,
the
man,
gold
that's an
spectrum parallel of that.
Beautiful.
Okay,
card.
so this exact card sold for $72,000 US in the April 2022 premiere. So that was peak COVID, right?
Okay.
Here's my question: this auction ends on the 20th. If the Oilers have somehow won by then, or if they're in contention, what are the chances that this beats that?
I don't think it will.
You don't?
No, I don't think. Economy's
In my mind, this is a very nice McDavid RPA.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's beautiful. Nothing beats that 0304 design, man. That is the best design ever. It's amazing.
What do you think, Troy? You think it's got a shot of beating 72,000?
I don't know it well. I don't know that market well enough. I'll say no because I'm going to go with Phil.
Okay.
Don't go with me. I'm usually wrong, man.
All right, there's 2 more. There's the 1979 OPG Gretzky PSA 8. I guess just your everyday ho-hum Gretzky rookie, right?
Yeah.
Obviously a fantastic card. And then lastly, a 2012-13 SP Authentic
Ooh,
Gretzky
cool.
limited auto patch.
That is amazing. You don't see
Even though
this
it's horizontal, it's a sweet card.
Yeah.
Sweet card.
Out of 10, BJ game used patch. Yeah. Game used, everybody. But a pretty decent hockey lineup for the premiere.
I love Gretzky and the old Oilers with the blue blade.
Oh, it's the
or
best,
the blue
Troy.
Tux or whatever. The cowl.
Yeah,
what do they call these things? Tux? They call tux.
And people listening, it looks like a FWAP, but it's not. It's just a limited auto patch.
Yeah,
but it's got
awesome.
that design and that beautiful horizontal classic design there.
What did you say? Do you say it looks like a FWAP? FWAP! Also, don't sleep on the weekly. Oh, wait. You have a comment?
No, I was just saying I was gonna have a button bar sound for FWAP, but I didn't.
Oh, come on, Troy.
Stop coaching baseball 24 hours a day.
I know, eh? Family's real great.
Oh my God. That was awesome. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. There we go.
Troy's gone crazy on the button bar.
Crazy with the button bar.
I was going to say a pretty decent lineup for the premiere, but don't sleep on the weekly auction either that ends this upcoming Sunday. You can check out both auctions now at pwccmarketplace.com. On the weekly auction, there's a bunch of bangers too. Lots of Bedsies, Gretzky's, McDavid's. On Thursday's show, Troy and I will break down our favorites like we always do. All right, mailbag time. First question. Jeremy Catan 6. I just joined the Top Loader Binder fan club.
Attaboy, Jeremy.
However, it doesn't fit thicker cards. Do you have any recommendation for cards larger than 55 point? So I spent a few minutes on this, Jeremy, searching Amazon, eBay, could not find any that specifically mention they are designed to accommodate thicker cards. I did see a bunch that did mention that they were for 35-point cards. I don't know, Troy and Phil, do you guys know?
I do. I got some ideas. Here's my thing. If you don't, now this is, I'm going to say this is a joke, so don't take it serious. But I was like, if you're not able to fit higher than 55 point, you're just not trying.
Yeah, I forced mine. Yeah, I was right with you.
Here's the deal. I've gotten in some thick cards, some 130s and 140s in mine. And you have to get them in there. But the key is don't put a card behind on the other side of the page. You can't put another top loaded card in. You just have to do it on one side, and then you can get a bigger card in. 130 to 140 might be the biggest I think I've slid into the thing. After that, I think you might rip the plastic on the ones that I have, and I know Phil has it.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can do it, if you on the ones we have, what are they called? Oh shoot, I should have
Top loader gems
or something. Yeah, as long as there's a card not on the back side, you can't fit a top load, a thick one on the front side, and then the back side of the page. Yeah, put another one in. So that's how I've done it. I've actually got it now. If you're OCD, I guess it can drive you nuts having breaks. Like you'll have 5 cards in a row and then a break because you have a big thick one on the other side. I get it. I've just learned to live with it. I know it kind of ruins the flow, but there is a way to do it. Now, again, don't force them in there and bend your card or anything crazy. But nice thing is they're in their top loader, so they got a little rigidity there.
You can buy loose sheets, right? So before these binders came out, you could have your own 3-ring binder, and you can buy individual sheets. And I know a few years ago, you could buy more loose plastic, kind of like the cheaper it is, the more you can kind of let the plastic stretch. So you could look to buy the sheets individually if you have your own 3-ring binder, but then you don't have the nice leather that we do. So,
Yeah.
All right. Next question. Flips cards. I love your every episode counts on the PSA 10.
Oh, look at that. I didn't even know this was in here.
We'd love to hear about BGS and SGC counts and the latest sale prices across those 3 companies. Can throw in tag there too. Okay, so I didn't do sale prices, but I did do pop count. So here we go. At PSA 10, again, the pop count is 3,497. SGC 10. How many SGC 10s would you guess there are, Phil?
150.
Wow.
120.
Wow, nice.
Close. You were almost there.
Yeah. Oh, good. Nice. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm having fun playing this game. So now how many BGS 9.5s do you think there are?
Oh, Jesus. There's some 285. No, not
411.
Good. Oh, that's not bad.
Mm-hmm. And then tag 10. How many tag 10s?
52.
38. You're pretty good at this game.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm also really good at guessing people's weight.
You know what? Yeah. I wonder. This would be a whole research project. Nice. But it's like, to me, tag are like the really beautiful, the ones I want my personal collection in.
Yeah,
man, I could almost proxy that as how many people do you think are actually personally collecting?
Yeah. Good point, Troy. Exactly.
You're not going to be anywhere near the right answer, but to me, it makes sense.
What would you rather a Bedard 10 in out of all those slabs?
Oh,
the tag slab.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, no one collects cards. We're all getting roostier, man.
Okay, I'm doing the math quickly here. So there's 3,497 PSA 10s, and then of the 3 combined, there's 531, 539, 569.
Wow.
And then just one other little point of context, because I was on the Beckett. There's 40 Beckett 10s. No black labels.
Interesting.
All right, next question. Gongshow Discord, Cigar Scott. Scott was in the when we watched game 1. He was awesome time. Okay, so he says, is Pat LaFontaine broke? Every product the past few years.
Funny.
I don't know. I did some research since I saw this question, because I was kind of curious. You never know.
Yeah.
And I think it comes down to the fact that there are just guys that will sign everything that's put in front of them. And it's one way that these guys get supplemental income. And some of them go into retirement, and that's how they make their money. Now, I started looking more into LaFontaine, and he actually doesn't look like he's in any financial peril. He does a ton of charity work and has raised like millions upon millions of dollars for various causes. So I'm wondering if he also uses money from this to donate and do stuff like that. But I don't think he's in any dire straits. I think he just likes to sign things. He's also worked in the front office with a couple NHL teams. Now, both of those didn't go very well. He was released pretty quick, but it looks like now he's what is he? It said, now this is Wikipedia, so I don't trust it, but it says he's back with the NHL doing something, but we'll see. I don't think he's in peril. I just think he signs a lot, and that's about it.
The internet says his net worth is $15 million. And everything
he's doing all right. He's doing all right. Do they get a pension in the NHLPA? Yeah, eh?
Depends. I
Yeah.
think when you were in the league, I can't remember because it's like
You
a
have to
lot of
play
the
so
old
many
guys
years.
don't
Okay.
get the pension like the new guys do, and it's based on years. And
Okay.
I don't know where they've ever ended up. Like if the alumni association is kind of kicked in, you hear it all the time with like the NFL and like the old players are just kind of screwed. But I don't know the NHL situation with that.
Are you Pat LaFontaine's finance manager, Phil? Do you have any
Yeah,
opinions
no,
on the
no.
financial situation?
I was just curious. Just curious.
All right, Instagram, Cardiac Sports Cards. This question has me all
Here-
sorts of flummoxed.
Yeah.
He says, what are your thoughts on Upper Deck removing the player-worn game-used language? So, to my knowledge, they haven't. I don't
No.
think they
Mitch
have
Mitch
anyway.
showed it. Mitch showed up Instagram, I think, and showed a picture of it. It took out it was like a card that had a patch, and it didn't say anything. It just said this memorabilia is guaranteed by Upper Deck. It was something like that.
A new card?
I don't know what the exact card was. We'll have to dig
Oh,
more
okay.
into this one, but I definitely think it's a thing, unless it was
Well,
a mistake.
I know, like in general, the language seems to be
Yeah.
getting more vague at which I don't love, and I think that one of the whole game used is such a huge provenance in the hobby, and what makes me think that they're not like across the board doing it is Phil, your big set, Parker's Champions. It says game used all over the place. There,
Yeah, I
and
love
that
it.
just came out. So,
Yeah.
I don't
You're the
know.
one
Do
who
you know
told me
anything
that.
about this, Phil?
I'd like to know what series he's talking about. The Cardiac Sports. Like what? Like some sets. I'm not good with like Trilogy and Black Diamond, but isn't it different for every series?
guess.
I don't know.
But the language has been getting more vague, and in general, I don't like that.
Well,
That's
yeah.
been the trend.
I don't know too much about that. I only know what I know, man.
Okay, Instagram, Schwab's Hockey Cards. I have a Bedard Juniors card numbered 98 out of 99. Would you consider this a jersey numbered card, even though he wore number 16 for Team Canada and is wearing 16 in the photo on the card? Thoughts on what's considered a jersey numbered card when a player changes their number after juniors or their rookie year? In my opinion, if you're a jersey number kind of a person, the serial number has to match the number on the jersey on the card, or I personally would not consider that a jersey number card. Do you guys agree or disagree with that?
Agreed.
Agree.
I'm not a jersey number card guy, anyways. I can't stay. There was a Beliveau black variant Parker's Champion, a 4, and the guy was like, "Oh, it's a jersey." I hate paying premiums for jersey numbers. I personally don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I find sellers really like to tell you it's a jersey number.
Oh,
though.
sure.
Yeah. It's a jersey number, bud. Come on.
Any thoughts, Troy, or do you just agree?
No, I kind of agree with that. I'm in the midst of searching Mitch's because I don't want to make sure I didn't just call him out for the wrong, like it wasn't him, but
I'm sure it was.
It might not. It might. If it wasn't him, I apologize.
It could be a story that went away too, so you might not be able to find it. All right, Instagram, JB Hockey Cards. I achieved my ultimate goal of picking up a Bedard Young Guns in a trade. With that being said, I was planning on sending it to PSA. Might be upcharged. But upon closer inspection, I noticed a tiny white line on the top of the card where the stanchion on the glass is. Do I still send it to PSA hoping they will overlook it or just keep the card raw? I have no intentions of moving it anytime soon. Well, I would say congrats on achieving your goal. It's always awesome when you achieve a hobby goal. I would compare your card to other graded copies and see if this is something that's been missed in the past, or if it's a card that you want to keep for your PC. I think we're all three kind of falling more and more into the just keep it raw.
Yeah.
So enjoy it that way. And then the other thing you have to keep in mind with these new PSA slabs, I was just at our local card shop and they had cracked one and they said it was so hard.
Really?
And
Interesting.
Yeah, that they're like, it's a big
undertaking.
deal.
Yeah.
Undertaking.
Okay,
Yeah, I was
good to
trying not
know.
to swear, but so yeah.
Well, I want to get
Yeah,
one
you guys-
now. I want to try and crack it.
Any comments on what your opinions what JB Hockey Cards should do?
I'm biased if I respond.
Yeah. I would probably keep it and just not go that route. And like you said, unless you look but then the thing is, if you ever sell this thing raw, now you know what you know. You have to just
Yep.
you just
Flip
close
a
it.
coin, man. You can get
Yeah.
a 10 or a 9. We all know that. We're all
Just
just
keep
not saying it.
resubmitting. Well, I guess
Any given day, it could be a 10. I mean, that's
Yeah.
very. It's just the person that looked at it, and
well, plus if it
Did
takes
their
you
eyes
4
hurt
hours
or-
to crack it every time. That'd be fun.
okay. Instagram, Matt Sottle. Huge
So-
Kaprizov fan here. I'm from Toronto. They exist here too.
Nice.
Well, as long as you don't call him Kaprizov, because every Canadian calls it. We pronounce every other name wrong besides Kaprizov.
Kaprizov's the only one we get right.
The only one we get right. I know that his market's cooled off considerably, but that just means better deals on a great player.
Mhm.
Considering the sticker gate situation with the super high-end cards, would you guys consider his premier acetate RPA out of 99 his best rookie card? For those that value auto patches, especially on-card autos, thanks as always for the awesome work you do. Well, it sounds like these two, Matt, are not as big a fan as Premier, but I love the. I would definitely agree with you there. But I think my favorite RPA with an on-card auto would be the flop.
Yes.
The Future Watch auto patch.
Yep.
You agree with that, Troy?
Yes, the Future Watch auto patch is awesome for Kaprizov.
Is
Especially
he in
the
the
black
reverse
one.
retro
Remember the
on
black
that?
one?
Oh,
Here, I'll find it here.
that one was
On screen. Whoops, where'd it go?
there. It is.
Oh my god, that's beautiful. That's
Here,
a nice
I want to
card,
get
boys.
it's on Golden site. I want to get a big picture of it. There we go. That thing
that's a
is
nice
awesome.
If that's
Wow.
the one Kaprizov rookie I could own, it might be this one.
I'd crack
was
that out
lovely.
of the slab so fast. If anyone's
know.
listening, it's the most beautiful, majestic black Future Watch 101, and the guy slabbed it. It got an 8. Good job, dude.
Oh,
Good
but it's
job.
not game use. That you just gotta remember that.
No, it's
Because it's
rookie. It
rookies,
can't be.
right?
Yeah.
Rookies
Yeah.
they're all usually player.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
Who slabs this card, man? Oh, it drives me nuts.
Somebody that wants to get a lot of money. They think
Yeah,
they're gonna get
well-
more money by doing it.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Okay,
Here,
next question.
Back to our Patreon.
Back to repeat, yeah.
I don't know where am I at. What question?
Andrew.
Okay.
For Andrew's
there we
first after Matt Sottle. Andrew told us how to say his name and then we forgot. I forgot. Do you remember?
go.
Andrew
Oh, shoot.
Sorry.
Sai. Andrew Sai. We're gonna go with that.
Hmm.
He has two questions. Both good ones. He says, when do Series 2 hobby boxes go down in price? The Bedard Young Guns is already sunk. May not be done going down too. The value isn't there at the price point the hobby box for ripping. Yeah, so currently I checked, it's like $290 at David Adams.
It's went
US.
down. I mean, it's went down.
It's went down, so down slightly, I guess, from its peak, but still
Yeah.
very high, of course, based on historical prices. And again, I'm not trying to sound like your economics professor, but it'll go down when people stop buying it, and retailers and distributors and dealers want to have too much inventory, and they
Yep.
need to get rid of it, so they'll lower the price. I do think that if the Gold Outburst 101 Young Guns does surface, that it would probably immediately go down some
Yeah.
there too. You guys have anything else to add?
I agree. Yeah.
Okay. Andrew has a second question. He says, what's your favorite? He must be Canadian because he spells favorite like a Canadian.
Oh yeah, that's how we can tell.
Man, I kind of like how you guys said
Watch
that.
it. No, he's gonna
Oh,
write
we-
in and tell us
we
we
spelled
said his
it the right
last name
way.
wrong and he's not Canadian. We're just gonna be like, we have failed again.
We're making a judgment based on you spell favorite. He says, what's your favorite version of a Young Guns Future Watch Autos? How many boxes will you both be getting of SPA and extended? So when it comes to Future Watch Autos, I actually like the 2020 design. It's very clean. And then Young Guns, my favorite years are I kind of like the newer ones, like that, but I like 2018, 19, and 2020. Those 3 years. I'm a big fan. Do you have a favorite Young Guns design, Phil, or a favorite?
Oh,
Future Watch Auto
absolutely.
design?
Yeah. Oh, Young Guns.
Oh,
Yeah, probably the 0203.
okay.
Yeah. They had the tribute. They had the retro throwback there. They had the Stutzel. They had
Yeah.
Kaprizov. You know what I'm talking. That design's the best, man.
Yeah.
0203.
Oh,
Or is
I
it
love that.
0304? Is it 0304?
I think it's no, it's 0203, and that
Okay.
that
Spezza's-
Kaprizov was an extended. That
Yeah,
was super short
Stutzel.
print and huge
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. It's gone down a lot though. So if you're listening and you like that card, I don't know about Kaprizov, but like you can, when you could buy a Stutzel like 2 years ago for like $1,500, they're like $200 raw now. So
Wait. So is it Stutzel or Stutzla?
I call him Stutzel,
Okay.
but in Ottawa, it's a Stutzel, Stutzla, Jimmy Stew. You hear it all, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crybaby
Stutzel more.
stew.
Maybe Stew. Yeah. Oh, now I'm hungry, man.
Crybaby stew.
Crybaby Stew.
Mm.
Crybaby Troy. No kidding.
Do you have a favorite Future Watch Auto design then, Phil?
They're all the most simple, the best. Yeah. The simple,
about you,
less
Troy?
colors. I like the white.
So future watches, I'm actually year agnostic. I just want the black and gold ones. I think those look so good no matter what year it is. And then future watch, I like the 2000 whatever it is, 2 or 3, whatever we decided on. The one with the Caprice offshore print. I love that design.
I don't know. I think I'll buy a fair amount of extended if the price is right, because I like the weird inserts in it. I like a lot of like the SPX kind of weird stuff.
Deep roots.
I don't want to spend.
Hey, people like deep. I thought deep. I think deep roots was a sleeper hit. Some people like that.
You can have all my deep roots.
That's my thing. I just tell Phil that there's these cards out there. They're sleeper hits. He's like, you can have all mine.
Oh, good.
Here's my thing on SPA, and I don't know if you guys will feel the same or different, but I love SP Authentic. I have never once pulled a decent card out of a box of that. And so at $500, I don't think I can stomach. And that's basically just on my luck or past history or whatever it is. It's that seems like I would be throwing money away at that point.
Yeah,
but you guys plan to buy it?
No, not a chance. No.
So
I do have an itch to buy a break though. I'd love to pay like $2,000 and get a Chicago team break and just, gamble that. Do that one shot to feel alive, for 10 minutes.
I'm putting this up. I did pull this from an SP box. I just love the auto. I don't care about the player. It's kind of garbage, but I love the auto. Just loopy loops.
Yeah. Okay, here's a good question. Facebook, Steven Spradling.
Oh boy, where am I?
He says, I hear you guys always rip on people's photos. I can never get the reflection off my phone out of the card unless I take it at an angle. What setup do you guys have for taking pictures for eBay, MCP, etc.? Any products you recommend? All right, Troy, we'll let you go first, and then Phil will let him chime in.
I screwed up. I already missed the. I don't know where this question went. I apologize. I know I read it. So if glare, if you always get glare, light boxes are a savior. If you can find them on Amazon. There's a whole bunch of different kinds, sizes. But I remember I got a light box and it was like life-changing at one point. I'm like, whoa, okay, I got it. And then Josh actually ordered both of us a while ago these they were fairly cheap photo lamps. Like you put on the side of your table and they shoot down and they're really bright.
So you don't have direct overhead light.
Yeah, you don't have direct light and it's kind of got a filter on front of it. Boy, that works with magic too. Those were really good pictures when you use those. Because what happens, you just got to get that light so it doesn't reflect back. And I'm not a photographer, so I'm talking in dumb terms, but any glossy card, just got to watch it. And one thing I did on really reflective cards sometimes is I would take the picture with my phone from a little bit far distance away and zoom in. So at least if there is a little reflection, it's really tiny, but that's what I've done. Light boxes, the photo lights, and then kind of taking a picture from farther away is zoom in.
What are your tricks, Phil?
Well, I bought a light box. I really like it. And I haven't decided what I like more, the light box or my Epson V600 photo printer.
Ooh.
I highly recommend. Oh, sorry, I'm out of frame. I highly recommend getting a scanner. It was like $300-400, man. It was one of the best things I ever bought. Did you guys see my uploads on my card post today?
I did.
Did they look okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I scanned those in. I took them out of the top loaders and everything.
I have an iPhone, but my trick or tip would be use the edit feature. You can crop. So I'll take if I try to get my camera so it's not overhead, and so I have to get further away, but you can crop in and it's still very high resolution. And then there's a light adjust that adjusts the color intensity of it. It's an automatic feature in an iPhone. It does the same thing and it makes the photos typically look very beautiful. So if you take that extra 2 minutes to edit your card, I think it makes a big difference.
You have an iPhone though. I think Troy is an Android, so he can't really do any of that stuff. Oh, he can't defend himself. He's on mute.
Me and Sylvain rise up, Android gang. Here we go.
You rise down, man. You bring
Sylvain.
us down.
Why do I say? I don't know. Sylvain.
All right, Facebook, Rylan JB. Troy, you've shown the question 7 times now.
I know.
I was like, can someone help Troy with this?
All right. And then now we got it. Okay, here it is.
Oh, no.
What a gong show. Should Upper Deck change retro Future Watch autos as an extra auto instead of being your one
Ooh.
Future Watch auto of the box? I could not agree more.
Yeah.
It is disappointing when you open a box and you don't get that base Future Watch out. I mean, that's like the iconic card of the set, and the retros, of course, are numbered lower, but they're worth a fraction of
Yeah.
what the regular ones are.
What a great question statement. I never thought. I totally agree with this. I would love them to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Yep. Get rid of
Troy,
the
do you agree?
retro.
Sure.
I don't know.
I agree. I guess I'm not as passionate about this one, but I mean, I would like to get not a retro auto for my auto.
Instagram, the sports card journey. I put an offer in for an OPG McDavid PSA 10. Why am I like this? Because you want one? I don't know. Go get it if it's what you want. It's probably poor timing, but sometimes we do.
Yeah.
This is the thing. You can be like, you can figure everything out about this hobby, and then the inner child takes over, and you do
Yep.
stupid stuff, and sometimes you just got to embrace that, right?
Yeah.
I've been there. All right, Instagram, Jeremy Catan 6. Do you think the hobby suffers when top rookies are left out of sets due to deadlines? To some degree, I think it's unavoidable, but it's a bummer. A recent example would be like there's no Leo Carlson in Trilogy, but that was more of a mistake than a deadline thing. I don't know. Do you guys think that? I suppose it would depend what set too. Like if there was no Bedard in SP Authentic,
that's
people
exactly
would
what I was
lose
saying.
their mind.
Depends who the rookie is, but yeah, it stinks, but it's gonna happen. The world we live in and the logistics and everything and the contracts and the legal stuff, it's just gonna happen sometimes. Now, when you forget about him completely, you just who's this guy? Oh God, we forgot to put him in. That kind of stinks, but it happens. That happens too, I guess.
Anything to add, Phil?
No, I don't think about it.
Instagram, Taylor A. Wood. Thoughts on premium sets like the Cup having quote unquote nobody players? Well, here I'll start here too. That's why, like, if you buy the Cup, the smartest thing financially to do is not to open it.
Yeah,
of course. And it's this kind of push pull issue that Upper Deck has. If there's a lot of demand for the product, do you water down the hits and put like 12,000 Mario Lemieux cards in the set, or do you add more players that you're kind of got the owl sounder where you're like, who? It's a tough. I don't know what the right answer is.
I don't think there's a right answer because nobody players can mean different to someone. If I hit a Pekka Rinne in the Cup, I'm ecstatic. Someone else hits it, they're like,
yeah, I would be quite upset if I hit a Pekka Rinne.
Yeah, so it's like you have to have those players. Like you said, you can't have 12,000 Mario Lemieux, or else the price of the boxes would be 10,000. It'd be like the Topps Legends, I guess. Like, right? Don't they do that? Like Topps Legends, and it's like one card autograph.
Yeah.
But even then, you might get people that they call them nobodies, but they're actually famous. They might be Hall of Famers, but people don't care. I just think you have to have all these players in there. I know it stinks if you don't hit your player, but it's kind of the way it is.
Are there set complete? Like, do people? I know I talked about it last week with Troy, but do people try to get like an RPA of everybody in a cup? I mean, that's a very advantageous goal.
Didn't we see it at our first Toronto Expo?
It's there, everyone. Yeah, the complete 05-06 RPA set.
Yeah, but is there someone like I know a dealer in Ottawa, and every year he has like 3 or 4 clients that don't want to open their own cards, and he fills the binders with the cards and finishes their OPG sets, and they just keep put it. Yeah,
really?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wow. That's wild. So I thought maybe there'd be someone like that for the Cup that has like an extra $150K to spend on base cards.
All right, Instagram, McCleb Hockey Cards. Why do you think Bobby Orr has more hobby love than Raymond Bourque? Bourque has the most points ever for a D-man. Phil, you probably have a opinion here.
I don't know. I didn't see this question before. What do you think?
I think just his Orr's
better.
Orr's like revered, right? He revolutionized the D position. But the more you learn about the NHL, there was actually guys that did stuff similar, but no one exploded on the scene like Orr did, I think. And again, I wasn't alive during his prime, so I'm just going off of what I've read. And plus, or how many cups did Orr win? I don't even know.
You won a couple, but you look at like total points, and of course Bork has more total points than Orr, but he also played a lot longer. Or
yeah, I was gonna say Bobby
injury
points per games.
Yeah,
points per game is higher.
And people back sports had a bigger impact on society back then, right? Like how many didn't or more people wasn't Bobby Orr more of a household name in the 50s and 60s than Ray Bork was in the 80s and 90s?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like just a society cultural impact, I guess. And Troy, I really like your point. We weren't alive, but he was like, oh my God, defensemen can skate up the ice and score a goal. And Bobby's like, yeah, I'll do it again. Like,
I can win. I can win the whatever the Hart Trophy or the Art Ross. Art Ross's points, right?
Norris for defense, isn't it?
Yeah, Art Ross was points, though, if I remember right.
All right, next question, Troy. Instagram Sasky. Love that name. What are your ideas for the podcast? Once you hit episode 200?
Ideas for a podcast? Yeah, right.
Yeah. Have you thought about doing the most expensive card sold each year? Well, that's good. The last two digits. You would have to get creative for the first few years. So this is a Troy question because I assume he is referring to the greatest player.
I don't know.
What happens when we hit 200, Troy?
I don't know. I haven't thought of that far ahead. That takes planning, and it's like literally coming up in like 3 weeks. So we'll see.
That's brutal. We'll think about it. We'll whiteboard it next week in a couple of weekends. It's gonna creep up on you, man. Come on, boys.
The most expensive card in 2001, maybe, and instead of 1901.
I don't know. Yeah, the most expensive card.
I feel like it's got a lot of Wayne Gretzky's going to be in that one.
Pretty much, but you'll think of something. You're
I'll
smart,
try to
creative
think
guy.
of something.
Yeah. Okay. Instagram Dynasty Central Sports. What's your take on the lack of product on the shelves for 2023-24 Series 2? I think he's referring to retail, and there is something going. I don't know. I want to get your perspective in Ottawa, Phil, but there's something going on here. This card has not, or these blasters or mega boxes.
I've never seen them at Target. Never seen
me
them
either. Psychopaths. They're hyenas, man. They're vultures out there. Yeah. And it doesn't take many. All it takes is what, 2 in a radius of 500 kilometers or miles or what, 250 miles. A couple of psychopaths just waiting there.
Either that, or I almost wonder if the retail distributors they're not even hitting the shelves.
Maybe backdoor. I don't know. I don't want to get
because there's a lot of them in hobby shops here for like mega boxes for tins for $120, stuff like that, US, and blasters for $50 when their MSRP on them's half that. So I don't know if there's deals being made. Who knows? But there's nothing here in Minnesota.
No, I've never seen it at Walmart. And I don't know, frequent Walmart 2-3 times a week, maybe like 3. I don't know. How much does the average person go to Walmart?
As little as possible.
Good answer. Good answer.
You're talking to 2 guys that live where Target's headquartered, so we're full Target. Like,
what is Target? It's like a Walmart, eh? It's like
Target came to Canada for like 5 seconds. And
that's right.
It was a complete disaster because they're like, hey, you know what? We got Zellers. Zellers is there. They went out of business. We're gonna buy, because I actually worked at Target in IT when this happened. We're gonna buy all these Zellers or buy the leases, and we're moving in. We're Target. One of the things they forgot about is a reason Zellers went out of business was they were in terrible locations. And so here comes Target. And then they could not keep the stores stocked. They did a horrible job at doing that. I don't know what they tried to do, some central distribution model. It didn't work. Okay. And then this was known before they even went in. I think it's something crazy, like 80 to 90% of Canada's population already lives within, I want to say, an hour of a Target in the US. And it's probably up there like New York.
What? Oh, really?
Because Toronto's huge, right?
Like along the border.
Yeah. I mean, your population, if you look at population density map of Canada, I'm pretty sure it's like all southern borders where a lot of it is. I mean, it's pretty nuts. So.
Is it so when I was a kid, Zellers had a cafeteria. I used to like a club sandwich. Does Target have a cafeteria?
It does. terrible. It's like
Yeah.
it's like a pizza. You get like a frozen Pizza Hut pizza that they put in the microwave and throw out.
Is it like a lunch lady? Like, have some more sloppy joe?
No, there's no lunch.
No.
No, why would they?
No.
That's extra cost.
Oh, okay, yes.
But
yes,
Target is the upscale. We
Yeah.
love our Targets.
We're living in the now. I apologize.
Target or Walmart, it ain't here. That, and I don't. I think that it's a stark difference too between in 2015, where I seem to remember that 2015-16 Series 1 Upper Deck was readily available at retail.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So if you want to do the McDavid comparison, there's something fishy.
We sell hockey. We sell hockey cards at a hockey equipment store. We have a Hockey Life in Canada. It's just a big equipment store, memorabilia as well. They sell hockey cards at the Cash. You guys, that's pretty smart. Yeah.
We have Pure Hockey that sometimes has packs when I'm there, but
they have a lot more hockey cards now. But they're charging hobby shop prices.
Yeah.
So I have seen Series 2 there, but for like $50 for a blaster box, which is insane.
They don't know what they're doing. I mean, yeah.
Next question. Instagram, Ruben Crane. Another Troy question. Can Troy please explain the story behind his beef with Eric Lindros?
This is fantastic. Troy was walking around in Montreal thinking he was going to get rolled. A couple people made some comments. He's like, I'm just going to follow you, Phil.
Yeah, I'm just like, you do my talking. I'd be like, no English or whatever. I can't talk. No beef with Lindros. I just wanted to do Vasilevsky, and he was one of the runners up. And I like goalies better, so I did Vasi. No beef with Eric Lindros, except stop being a baby. Sign with Quebec.
No, I have no beef with them. Stop being a baby. It's okay to say you just don't like.
I do wish he could have played a full healthy career, though. I will say that. It's like I hate that his career got shortened by concussions.
We should get him on
and Bobby Clark hating his guts, I guess, too, right?
We should get him on the show for 200, and Troy, you can ask him a few questions.
Well, I wish you could put Eric Lindros and Bobby Clark in a ring and let them just come at each other, because Bobby Clark was not very nice to Eric Lindros. No.
Is it safe to say then, if somebody has a Synergy Eric Lindros card, that you're probably not in the market for that?
I'll take it.
That's all yours.
Cards. They need to do a cards that never was, and it's like Lindros in a Quebec Nordiques jersey.
All right, we got to move on now. This is a treat for you, Phil.
This one's nuts.
Yeah, this one's nuts. So
a lot of reading.
No, you just listen. Active listening. This is going to require, but it'll be worth it, because we have an unsolved hobby mystery.
You know what the mystery is where did the question go? I have the picture of what it is, but there was no.
This sounds a little planned, boys. What's going on here?
No, this is
it's just a great question.
Okay. My chair's squeaking. Do you guys hear that?
That happens to me too.
But do you hear it?
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like I'm farting.
The hobby forgives you. All right, Troy, I'm just going to read it, and I'll read it slow so people can follow along.
Yeah, read it, because I don't think I can't find the picture.
As many know, Matt Barzal is one of the guys who doesn't sign. He has only signed rookie year cards from 2016-17. However, this card suddenly appeared for sale. A stature out of 10 auto. What makes it even stranger is that it does not appear on the checklist, and I'm pretty sure none of these have been seen until this one recently appeared. How can this be explained? Any thoughts? The auto seems legit. Okay, so we're going to show the card right here.
Whoa, this is like a ghost card.
It's not on a checklist. So is it real? Is it not real? A stature card would be almost impossible to fake, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have to have like a serious printer to make a forgery of this card.
But this card does exist without an auto. And could you fade the bottom to look like that's where the auto goes?
But the numbering is out of 10, though. And I think the blue
are the other
was
9
35.
Are the other 9 autographed?
You can't find anything.
I looked too. I couldn't find a thing. I'm like, what is
so that's a little suspect. If you can't find one other out of 9, I know 10's low, but
no, and it's not on the checklist at all. But he does have. You're right, or the Isles Collector's right that he doesn't really sign anything. But
Okay.
what makes this the puzzling part, and I think Troy already mentioned it, is what Upper Deck does is they dull the surface area of the cards when there's an auto. So a
Ooh.
regular Matt Barzal without an auto would not have this dulling. So in
That's
order
a very
to
good
like
point.
fake the auto, you'd have to find some way to dull the card approximately the same way that Upper Deck does it, and then forge the. It seems like a lot of work for a Matt Barzal auto, right?
So the quick Google machine search, that really looks that's a beautiful autograph. That would look hard to replicate. That's his autograph, boys. Because if you just type in memorabilia instead of cards, right? Nice little trick. He signed a
Mhm.
few 8x10s here, and I'm looking at them. That's his autograph for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at some SP Authentics, and
Yeah. I think that's
here.
I don't know.
This is. Let me see if I can drag
kind of
this
cool,
over.
right?
Yeah,
There's,
there's
like-
similarities definitely between
Yeah.
the.
Similarities. That's a carbon copy, Josh.
I'm not an auto authenticator. You're not either. So stop.
Wow. I got my glasses on.
Yeah, but I don't know why this card's not on a checklist or anything. At this point, like, do we call in a favor and just be like, listen,
Yeah.
Upper Deck, can you tell us what's going on with this card?
We could do that because that is interesting. Because and then there's that extra element that he really hasn't signed anything in what 8 years. So now all of a sudden,
No,
this-
that's got to be wrong. Because I mean, I just found that SP Authentic card from 3 years ago.
oh, okay.
And the 8x10s I found on the Google machine. Don't forget.
Sure.
Don't forget that.
The 8x10s might be. He might have a Fanatics deal. That's
Yeah, it had a Fanatics on the bottom right corner. Yeah, that's good, Josh. Oh, look at that.
okay.
The Evil Empire.
We don't have the answer, but it is interesting. Someone message us if you know the answer to this very, very important unsolved hobby mystery.
Interesting.
Instagram Stells20. He says, first time going to the National this year, looking to find some Parker's champions. Oh, gonna compete with Phil. For cheap.
Yeah, get out of my way.
Are there any other hobby boxes you would try to target based on your trip last year? What I will say last year is I went, Troy did not, right, Troy? No, yeah, me and my son went, and there was a lot of cheap hockey there. I wish I would have bought some. I think like Steel City will be there, other kind of big online retailers, and I would just look for products you like. A lot of 2022, 23 you'll find cheap. I really like 2021, 22 Ice. So if you can find a deal on that, that might be something to look at because the Ice Fill has the 2020 bonus pack, has the Ice premieres, and then your exquisite RPAs that you like there too.
The what was I saying? The champions for cheap. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Can I say something quick that has nothing to do with the question other than Parker's champions? I'm going this week to buy a case of Parker's champions. Well, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Yeah. I'm going driving a Toronto road trip. Yeah. I'm
Are you
thinking
gonna do
about
like a live stream
Yeah,
and open
you
it?
live stream opening the
whole
case
case
at one time.
Yeah, should I? I think so, eh? Maybe I should buy 2 cases. I'm getting a really good deal. I'm basically getting it for cost. Yeah. I don't want to say who it's from and how much, but I could probably twist his arm a little bit. Is that saying twist his arm?
Yeah.
Pull his finger. No, don't pull his finger. Twist his arm.
How many boxes of Parker's champions have you opened now?
Probably including the expo.
Yeah.
I thought what happens at the expo stays at the expo. We don't talk about that. What are you talking about, Josh? Okay, seriously. Probably maybe 10. So just
That's
shy of
it?
a case. Yeah, I think so.
No.
Okay, fine. Probably like 12.
Well, you've pulled
Whoa.
like every good card.
No more
You've
questions. No more questions.
Okay. All right.
I'm mildly not ashamed, but I'm having a good time, boys. I'm having a good time with the set. Yeah. So yeah,
right.
road trip to Toronto to Etobicoke, and I'm gonna try and get. I'm also trading my S2 SP Legend boxes for 6. That's a good trade, I think. 6 individual loose champion boxes. Yeah,
I don't know, Troy. Would you do that trade? Would you trade SP Legends for 2 for 6
I
Parkers?
love SP Legends, man.
Whoa! You boys aren't agreeing, eh?
No, I just love
I'm
SP
not
Legends. I don't care about the values. Probably, yeah.
I think the value's right.
Yeah.
I pulled
And
a
it's-
Donald. I pulled a Briere, not a Briere. I pulled a not a great card from a $350 box. I wasn't too happy, so I'm gonna take my chances. All right, more questions. Sorry to hijack.
Last question, then we get into personal pickups, which I'm
Oh.
excited about. So Instagram, Deke Grigsy 919. What will Upper Deck do with the Arizona-Utah transition for the 2024-25 season? So I think it's going to depend on the product and if it's been printed before the forced sale happened. But I think in general, what we'll see for 2024-25 are rookies in whatever bland uniform Utah uses before they settle on colors and logo and all that.
It'll be like the Kraken, right? Isn't it the kind of same deal as when the Kraken came in?
Yeah, probably. And I think we'll see vets in Arizona uniforms, but it'll say Utah on the bottom of the card.
Yeah, that's what I'm. I guess Kraken was new though. They make new franchise.
Okay, personal pickups. As tradition, we always start with Troy. Troy, do you got anything this week?
I do. So our friend Neil got us turned on to these. I didn't even know about them. And then we just
friend Neil turned us on.
That didn't sound right. There.
No, turned us on to these cards.
You've said a few things tonight. I'm just like, is he doing it on purpose?
So 2010-11 Upper Deck 20th anniversary variation parallel.
Okay.
Pekka Rinne. Where is it? Right here. Look at this.
Oh, awesome card, Troy. Great card.
Nice card.
Yep.
Beautiful.
So it's the 1990 Upper Deck hockey design, but in a 2010 set that I didn't even know they did these. And it's not like they're rare or anything. You can find these out there. But they do have 2 autographs in this variation design. There's like Bobby Orr and a Sidney Crosby, if you can find those. But yeah, I love this card. So it was like $2. So, okay. I'll buy it.
Okay, Phil, your turn. You have 3 pickups, so we're just going to throw them on the screen, and then you can comment.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Nice. So I picked up the McDavid about a month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. The pickup is Draisaitl. So these are my first some super good cards for non-sends. These are game used patches. And if you look, it's hard to see on the McDavid. I don't really care, but it's kind of like a cool coincidence. They're both, thank you, Josh. They're 22 out of 25, both of them. So then I got curious. So I looked at some other patch cards I had. They're no more 22 out of 25s, but I thought that was kind of different. But look, they're chunky patches. Yeah. I know if you're
layered.
Pardon me?
They're like layered almost.
I know. They're good. They're oh man, they're beautiful cards. So I'm gonna have a top loader binder of honorable Phil mentions, not like upward back. I know I gotta be careful how I say that. So McDavid, Draisaitl, I want to get him a car. It's the big boys. Crosby, I missed out on one, but that's okay. So that's my pickup, the Draisaitl. How much did I get that for? Hold on. Do you want me to say how much I got these for?
I do.
So I got the McDavid for $650 off Facebook. I know this poor guy, he had it for like $950, $850, $750. I'm like, why is no one messaging him? And sometimes I find when there's a language barrier, I don't want to give my secrets here. Oh, whatever. I love the hobby here. Here, take my secret. Sometimes there's a language barrier. If they could be from like northern Quebec, who doesn't have an internet connection, right? No one was giving this guy a chance. He didn't really have many vouchers. I don't know. I figured his persistence and his just kept lowering of the price.
Yeah,
I gave it a shot. So it worked out. Yeah, he mailed the card. I'm like, well, it's going to cost $650 to see if I get ripped off or not. So anyways, I picked up the Draisaitl to match it. So the question is, do I get like the black variants and the color variants now in the base? Yeah, of course. The answer is yes.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I think it's wild if you PC'd a specific number, like the 22 out of 25s. How that would just drive you nuts.
No, I can't do that. That would make me itchy.
You would never be able to complete anything.
That's the challenge.
Yeah. Well, I've said this a million times, but I'll say it again because this is just another great example. What other roughly $100 US box are you going to find game used on patches like these on card autos of players like McDavid and Draisaitl?
And sometimes you can find it for $90 US.
Right.
And as our as friend of the show, Neil Irish Flyer Collector, they're velvety. And the patches really, really come out at you with that type of finish,
Okay, next one.
Well, it's another one. Yeah, I got this out of a pack. It's a Patrice Bergeron game use patch, non-auto. Parker's
Nice card.
champions.
Almost
Are you a
22.
Bergeron fan?
21.
Me, no. I was kind of thinking about keeping it, but I put it on my card post, my postcard. Which
Oh
one
yeah,
is
my
it?
card post.
My card post. Yeah, mycardpost.com. And I put it on for what, $80 or something? I think that's too much. I should probably put it for like 40 or something. Yeah, maybe Bobby wants it. Does Bobby?
There's a lot of Bruins fans on my card post because actually Mark is from Boston and he's a big hockey collector. So I think it'll move on that platform for sure.
Well, a lot of people have looked at it. I put this Mitch Marner up. I don't know if you're watching on YouTube, and no one's looked at it. I think 2 people. Yeah, just saying, throwing that out there. Okay.
All right, then the last one, the most special. Oh,
God.
Oh, Phil, this is
I
beautiful.
know. You don't have to zoom in. That's fine. I pulled this out of a pack. Yeah, so super happy. So it can be yours for $650 American, which is crazy if you actually pay that. But yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful card, man. Very nice autograph, 2-color patch. I mean, it can't be anything else. Maybe, unless his tears are tears a color, because there's a lot of tears on his jerseys. So if they caught a tear, it could be a 3-color.
Well, doesn't his that almost looks like there's like silver or something on this shoulder pads here? But it's just, I think, the look of the photography.
I don't know. But anyways, I'm looking for a comparable trade. I'm willing to trade down levels to finish, you know, if you have some good cards, but like, come on, be reasonable. Yeah, what? That's the guy. Can I say what he tried? He tried to trade me today. The guy tried to trade me a Leaf, Joe Thornton. Is it Joe Thornton? Was it Joe Thornton?
I didn't even look.
It was just a big bear. That's all I know it was. It was a
you know what?
Bear.
A big bear. It was a 101. Some people are really into those cards. I'm not. I wasn't. But hey, he shot a shot, right? So
shot a shot.
Shot a shot.
All you can do.
Yeah, all you can do.
Should have reached out to you and asked you what you were interested in, and then
I'll give you Troy. Can we put Troy's cell phone number up there? You can just reach out to my manager, Troy.
Oh, Troy loves that. He's super open about personal information.
Negotiate deals for AM. What's his number? 34 there.
Yeah. All right. Good pickups, Phil.
Thank you.
So I had a bunch. First one I picked up. It's a card I've wanted for a long time. This is when I teased Troy on our last episode. Where I said that I bought this while we were taping the show. It's a 2021 Fleer Ultra Kirill Kaprizov Ultra Team. It's an insert, really tough chase. There's 25 cards in the set. It's 1 in 500 pack odds. So like an individual player like Kaprizov is 1 in 12,500 packs. I think this is the time like where patience works out. I remember when this set first came out, it was an e-pack exclusive. These were going for a few hundred a piece at least, and it was just too rich for me. Now, the only thing that, and it was $41, not the end of the world. This is my ComC gripe, is that this is one of those where it's stock image.
Yeah.
So I have no idea
don't know
what card is coming to me. And not every and so what that means is that it's a card that probably nobody ever owned that went right from e-pack into ComC, but that doesn't necessarily mean the card's in mint or gem mint condition. So you got to take a little gamble in that scenario. But I've heard that these look really, really good in hand, and so I can't wait to get it. Then keeping up with the 2021 Flair Ultra, I love the gold medallion, so I picked up an Ovechkin out of 200, and then a Draisaitl. And 2 Kaprizov.
Very underrated cards. Beautiful cards. Beautiful cards.
2 of these. The Kaprizovs are really cheap, like $9 a piece. And then the last one was after the game last night. I went on my card post, actually. And I think I got a good deal on this card. It's a Prism Bobrovsky from 2013 auto. I think it's a base auto. It's not silver. It is a sticker, but it was $8.
You like Prism, Josh? You collect Prism?
I do. Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't
just wanted
I wouldn't put you on
Officer
this.
Bob.
Interesting. This is a Troy card.
Maybe Troy can steal it from me. We'll never know.
Maybe that's his plan, Troy. This is Josh is
no kidding.
He's showing you what he's doing right in front of you.
Well, Phil, did you have a good time?
I had a great time. Oh, is it over? It ends quickly, eh? Yeah.
Well, it's super late. I know you're like one of those early to bed guys. So
yeah, I know that's okay though. My adrenaline's pumping.
Crabby tomorrow? You're gonna have to get like Tim Hortons coffee and donut to wake up, or what?
No, I don't really have to get up tomorrow. Things just happen now, and yeah. I'll probably sleep in till like 6:37. I'll be good.
Well, what do you have to say for yourself, Troy?
I unmuted myself before I had to talk. No, I'm good. I'm good. Hey, I had fun. This was a blast. I like when
This was a lot of fun.
shows. I mean, I'm looking at the time right now, and we're must be at like 2 hours and 30 minutes almost, and it felt like
it
20
flew
minutes.
by.
Troy, you should put a keyboard shortcut for your mute button so you just stop having to grab your mouse.
You know what? I have this thing right here, this button bar. I think I should do that. If I actually would sit there and do more than 3 things now. I have my 3 things and all that fun stuff. And yeah.
I think Troy has a mute disability. That's really what it comes down to. It's like
I think I have a mute disability, Josh.
Well, there's 9 different ways. There's 9 different ways I can mute myself. I can push this button. I can do this button, but I always forget.
All right, we made it. Thank you very much, Phil. Go check out the Loud Collector at Loud Collector on Instagram mainly. Oh, I should mention too, I wanted to say when we were talking about your Austin Matthews personal pickup, you actually were recording yourself when you hit that card, and it was a very funny. You got your in the moment reaction, and it's definitely worth checking that out. So go make sure you follow Phil, and thank you so much. We really appreciate your help.
Anytime, boys. I love it all the time. I love it. It's great. Fantastic. Thank you for having me on.
Well, if you like the episode, please leave a rating and review on Apple, Spotify, or whatever podcast app you listen to on. If you love the show, you want to support us, you want to watch Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Finals with us on the Hockey Cards Gongshow Discord server, please consider a $5 donation. Join on a $1.99 here on Patreon, Patreon. You can get a link on our website, hockeycardsgongshow.com, a link on the Patreon website, patreon.com, or in our Instagram, TikTok profile in the podcast description, whether you're listening to us on an app or watching us on YouTube. Guess what? We're on social media. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. We're all over the place. And Troy, the Hockey Cards Gongshow podcast is a production of Dollar Box Ventures LLC. Have an amazing start to your week, and we'll be back on Thursday. See ya.